Chapter 264. After being infused with Tang San's soul power, the remaining 7-8 spider spears shone even brighter. However, the 8 spider spears were still too weak against Wang Kai's boundless blood spear. Crack! Another crisp, cracking sound rang out. The second 8 spider spear in front of Tang San was shattered. Of course, a portion of Wang Kai's blood dragon's energy was also depleted. However, it still had close to 70% of its energy left. Under the terrifying might of the blood dragon, an even more intense collision continued. The 3rd spear, the 4th spear, the 5th spear, the 8th spear. With every 8 spider spear that shattered, Tang San's mouth would bleed profusely. However, with the stimulation brought about by the shattering of the 8 spider spears, Tang San's soul power was also slowly boiling. At the same time, the energy of Wang Kai's blood dragon was slowly being depleted. Finally, the last 8 spider spear shattered. At this moment, Tang San's back was dyed red with blood. This was blood that seeped out from the base of the 8 spider spears. As he bled profusely, Tang San's face turned pale. However, the soul power in Tang San's body surged. Tang San no longer had his 9th and external soul bone. At this moment, the blood dragon's strength was still close to 20%. As he looked at the blood dragon, Tang San revealed a smile in his eyes. I don't have the 8 spider spears anymore, but I still have other methods of retaliation. At this final juncture, the clear sky hammer finally appeared. A black light flashed. Tang San's right hand tightly gripped the handle of the clear sky hammer. After that, he viciously swung his arm and smashed it towards the head of the illusory blood dragon in front of him. Following an extremely sharp explosion, countless sparks and blood mist burst out from the center of the collision. Under Tang San's life-risking defense, his clear sky hammer finally shattered Wang Kai's blood dragon. It turned into specks of blood that scattered with the wind. However, after swinging this hammer, Tang San's soul power was almost completely depleted. His body was also extremely weak. He barely managed to stay upright by holding onto the clear sky hammer with one hand. At this moment, Tang San moved again. With a sweep of his palm, the fragments of the spider spears around him appeared in his hand. These fragments were mostly the barbs and sharp fragments of the 8 spider spears. Wang Kai, don't think that you've won. Taste my strongest attack. Batwing Reincarnation. Although the broken parts of the 8 spider spears on Tang San's back looked extremely terrifying, and his blood-soaked green uniform was a ghastly sight, Tang San's expression was extremely calm. There was even a trace of a smile on his face. His left hand supported the clear sky hammer as he maintained his standing posture. Tang San's right arm waved, and his forearm trembled with a strange rhythm. In the next moment, Tang San's 5 fingers spread open. His fingers seemed to disappear into thin air and turned into an illusion. The fragments of the 8 spider spears in his hand scattered in all directions. 24 fragments flew out at the same time. 12 flew towards Wang Kai, 8 flew towards the demonic figure formed by Hulaina and Evil Moon, and the remaining 4 flew towards Yen. It's useless. Looking at the fragments scattered in all directions, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a trace of mockery. Hearing Wang Kai's words, Tang San's face revealed a relieved smile. Then, with a thump, he fell to the ground. Although he had used up the last bit of strength in his body and had completely lost the ability to resist, in Tang San's heart, Wang Kai, who dared to look down on the Batwing Reincarnation, which was ranked 10th in the Tang sect's hidden weapon techniques, had already lost. Unfortunately, that was only in his heart. Although the Batwing Reincarnation was strong, to Wang Kai, who had abundant soul power and was already prepared, it was a small problem that could be easily dealt with. Looking at the 24 fragments scattered in all directions, Wang Kai's figure moved. However, he didn't flick the fragments away. Instead, he used his body to resist the fragments of the 8 spider spears. Wang Kai knew that Tang San's Batwing Reincarnation technique was extremely ingenious. If he used brute force to resist it, it was very likely that the fragments would attack the other team members. That would give Tang San an opportunity to force him to give up. Just in case, Wang Kai chose to use his body to resist the fragments. Although the 8 spider spears poison was very strong, to Wang Kai, who had the Emperor Shura's martial soul and the yin-yang body, this bit of poison was nothing. Tang San's thoughts were just wishful thinking in his heart. Following Wang Kai's movements, the 24 fragments of the 8 spider spears in the air were completely blocked by Wang Kai's body. Most of them were blocked by the scales on Wang Kai's body. Only 1 or 2 fragments successfully broke through Wang Kai's armor and sent the poison into Wang Kai's body. Then, they were quickly purified. Is this how you fight with your life? How laughable. Admit defeat obediently. A faint smile appeared on his face. Wang Kai's body shook, and the 24 fragments of the 8 spider spears were shaken out of his body. Then, he raised his spear and charged towards the netherworld white tiger. How is this possible? Seeing Wang Kai's movements, Tang San's eyes flickered with astonishment. He could no longer control his body, and his neck tilted to the side. His body was severely injured, and his soul power was completely exhausted. Even the last trace of the mysterious heaven technique in his body had been squeezed dry. Tang San was able to hold on until now, which was a miracle created by his indomitable will. But after his hope was shattered, Tang San could no longer maintain his consciousness and directly fainted. With the addition of a powerful warrior like Wang Kai, the remaining 5 of Shrek's 7 monsters could no longer resist and were defeated one after another. Finally, under the fervent gazes of the audience, the referee walked up and announced Marshal Soul Hall's victory. At this moment, Wang Kai suddenly felt an indescribable force enter his body, and the pressure of the world suddenly lightened. At the same time, although Wang Kai's soul power didn't increase, Wang Kai felt that the strength of his soul skills had increased to a certain extent. With Marshal Soul Hall's victory, they became the only team to emerge victorious in the group round. Furthermore, it was foreseeable that with Wang Kai's existence, no team would be able to defeat Marshal Soul Hall in the individual round. The champion of this tournament was already decided. After defeating Tang San, Wang Kai also successfully absorbed a part of Tang San's destiny. At the same time, the pressure of the world on Wang Kai naturally decreased, and this was also the source of Wang Kai's strange feeling earlier. However, this part of destiny wasn't completely stable yet. They could only completely seize Tang San's destiny when Marshal Soul Hall won the championship and obtained victory. Wang Kai wasn't anxious about this at all, because it was only a matter of time. After that, Wang Kai continued to participate in the remaining matches of the tournament with Marshal Soul Hall. Chapter 265. After the end of the team competition, the individual competition began in full swing in the afternoon. Although Tang San was injured, he could continue to fight after being treated by a healing-type Soul Master. However, he couldn't use the 8 Spider Spear, so the fighting strength of Shrek Academy's team didn't decrease by much. With Wang Kai holding the line, Shrek Academy's team naturally won all of the individual rounds without any mishaps. They also maintained their undefeated streak in the entire tournament. There is no doubt that Marshal Soul Hall was the champion of this tournament. The second place was still Shrek Academy's team, but they lost to Marshal Soul Hall in the team and individual competitions. The third place was Star Luo Imperial Academy, followed by Star Luo Iron Blood Academy, Skywater Academy, God Wind Academy, Heaven Do Imperial Academy, and Blazing Academy. After the final battle, the Holy Dragadoa stepped onto the stage as the host and announced the final scores and rankings to all the guests and teams. After hearing that they were the champions, even though they had been prepared for this for a long time, the members of Marshal Spirit Hall were filled with joy and joy. They hugged each other tightly after hearing that they were the champions. That's right, we're the champions. On the other side, the atmosphere in Shrek Academy's resting room was a little gloomy. Although obtaining second place in the Soul Master Tournament was something that many other teams didn't even dare to dream of, the Shrek's 7 monsters, who were striving to become the champions, were abnormally gloomy. They didn't complete the mission that Yu Xiaojiang had given them. They had failed. Among Shrek's 7 monsters, the one who felt the worst was naturally Tang San. After receiving treatment, Tang San's body had recovered, but his broken 8th spider spear was still regenerating. It would take at least half a year for it to fully recover. However, this wasn't the reason why Tang San felt bad. Apart from the discomfort in his body, Tang San felt as if something had been taken away from him, but he didn't know what it was. This was the reason why he felt the most terrible. Everyone, don't be sad. Even I didn't expect our opponents to be so strong. You've all done your best. Although you've only obtained 2nd place, in my heart, this result is more valuable than any championship. You haven't failed. Seeing the dejected expressions of Shrek's 7 monsters and the 3 substitutes, Yu Xiaojing slowly walked in front of them and comforted them. But we've indeed lost. A loss is a loss, and a failure is a failure. There's nothing to quibble about. After hearing Yu Xiaojing's words, Tang San shook his head and revealed a disappointed expression. Yes, you're not wrong to think that way. However, failure is now a thing of the past. You must not sink into failure. You must continue to work hard in your cultivation and strive to defeat your enemies one day. Understand? After hearing Tang San's words, Yu Xiaojing's Tang San's disciple. Yes, master, I understand. We can fail, but we will never lose our faith. As someone who had lived 2 lives, Tang San understood the meaning behind Yu Xiaojing's words. The disappointment in his eyes gradually disappeared, and he looked into Yu Xiaojing's eyes as he spoke solemnly. On the other side, the others also walked up and agreed with Tang San's point of view. Yes, it's good that you haven't lost your faith. Have a good rest. After looking at the students in the room with satisfaction, Yu Xiaojing also walked out of the resting room. After that, a trace of disappointment and hesitation appeared in his eyes, and he silently sighed. Don, I've lost this time. Back at the Martial Soul Hall's side, after hearing the news of them becoming champions, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's mind. Ding! Congratulations on completing the mission. You've become the champion of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Tournament. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the mission reward. World Malice minus 20%, 50,000 origin experience, 500 origin points. Following the mission's notification, Wang Kai felt the pressure around him decrease. He felt incomparably comfortable, and his consciousness became more sensitive. Ding! You've obtained the main mission. You've obtained the title of Killing God in the City of Massacres. Do you want to check? At this moment, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's ears again, telling him that he had obtained a new mission. However, compared to the previous mission, this mission was no longer mandatory. Of course I want to check. With a thought, a mission window appeared in Wang Kai's mind. Mission name: You've obtained the title of Killing God in the City of Massacres. Mission description: in the City of Massacres, you can train your fighting skills, and at the same time, you can obtain a large amount of experience. At the same time, if you can obtain the title of Killing God in the City of Massacres, you will once again plunder a large amount of luck from Tang San and establish a good foundation for your path of conquest. Of course, you can also choose other methods to train yourself and level up. The system will not force you to accept this mission. Time limit: none. Failure penalty: none. If you are defeated in the City of Massacres, only death awaits. The system will not set additional penalties. Mission reward: World Malice minus 5%, Source Experience 500,000, Source Points 5,000. Special reward: you will receive 10 times the experience for killing an opponent in the City of Massacres. After looking at this mission, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with a trace of burning passion. This is great. 5,000,000 source points, 5,000 source experience, and 10 times the experience for killing an opponent. What a generous reward. I originally wanted to go to the City of Massacres, and now the system's mission is simply tailor-made for me. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Wang Kai's thoughts moved, and he accepted the mission. Tomorrow morning, His Holiness will personally appear and give the rewards to the top 3 teams and announce the end of the tournament. Thank you very much for coming to watch this Soul Master Tournament. I also wish all the young Soul Masters participating in this Soul Master Tournament to reap rewards and have a bright future. At the same time, The doors of the Martial Spirit Hall will always be open to you. Just as Wang Kai accepted the mission, the Holy Dragon Delua finished announcing the results of the Soul Master Tournament, following which all the teams and spectators left one after another. Wang Kai slowly walked towards the Green Xian Hall. Without the pressure of the tournament, it was time to indulge himself with Chihiro Snow and the other 3 girls. Your Highness Wang Kai, please wait a moment. I have something to say to you. At this moment, Wang Kai suddenly heard someone call his name from behind. He turned around and saw a beautiful red-haired figure standing behind him, a pair of beautiful eyes staring at Wang Kai. Chapter 266. Hello, Miss Fire Dance. May I ask why you're looking for me? Looking at the graceful figure behind him, Wang Kai revealed a faint smile on his face. Then, he looked Fire Dance up and down. The beauty in front of him was wearing a gorgeous fiery red uniform with golden edges, which vividly accentuated her perfect figure. Her snow-white shoulders, fair neck, and slender arms gave people a good visual impression. Looking up, Fire Dance had a head of fiery red hair, beautiful eyes that faintly glowed with a layer of red light, a delicate and fair face, and a beautiful and mysterious fiery red mark on her forehead. All of these factors made Fire Dance appear rather beautiful. Of course, compared to Chihiro Snow, Ning Yuxian, and Dai Qingli, Fire Dance's appearance was still lacking, and her temperament was also far inferior. But in all fairness, even in the Dolua continent, where the average appearance was much higher than that of the Blue Star, Fire Dance could be considered a first-class beauty. She was on par with the Duguyan that Wang Kai had enslaved before, and could obtain a score of 6 to 7. Although she wasn't devastatingly beautiful, she could still be considered pleasing to the eye. Your Highness Wang Kai, I have a presumptuous request. I wonder if you can agree to it? At this moment, Fire Dance's beautiful eyes were also fixed on Wang Kai, and then she opened her mouth to request. Oh, what request do you have? Tell me first. If it's reasonable, it's not impossible for me to agree. Looking at Fire Dance's phoenix-like eyes, Wang Kai revealed a look of admiration, and then he replied with a smile. Your Highness Wang Kai, it's like this. I'm a person who admires the strong. Your performance in the Soul Master Tournament has convinced me. I hope that after graduating from the academy, I can work for you by your side. May I ask if you can agree to my request? With a burning look in her eyes, Fire Dance also spoke of her request. You want to work for me? Of course. As the Holy Son of the Martial Soul Hall, I'm in charge of the Holy Sun's personal guards. If you're willing to work for me, I can let you become a member of the Holy Sun's personal guards. What do you think? With a smile on his face, Wang Kai indifferently agreed to Fire Dance's request. Be it in terms of strength or potential, Fire Dance had reached Wang Kai's standards. In addition to her beauty, Wang Kai would not reject such a beauty's request. Not only that, but if Fire Dance wanted to develop a relationship with him that went beyond the level of a superior and subordinate, Wang Kai would naturally not object. Although Fire Dance's appearance was not top-notch, she was still a beauty with a temperament. Wang Kai had taken a liking to her. Thank you, Your Highness Wang Kai. Hearing Wang Kai's words, a hint of joy appeared in Fire Dance's eyes. It's nothing. Your strength has already met the requirements. Coupled with your potential, it's more than enough for you to become a member of the Saint's personal guard. Moreover, if you're willing to join the Saint's personal guard, I can guarantee that you will receive great training from the Martial Spirit Palace. You will enjoy first-rate resources and guidance, and you will also receive upper-class treatment in life. At this moment, Wang Kai looked at Fire Dance's fiery red eyes and added, Thank you, Your Highness Wang Kai, for your training. After I return to the academy and finish my graduation ceremony, I will immediately rush to Martial Spirit Holy City. However, I wonder how I should contact Your Highness when the time comes? Hearing Wang Kai's words, a smile appeared on Fire Dance's face. She was already very satisfied to be able to join the Saint's personal guard. Obtaining Wang Kai's promise to train her with all his strength was even more of a pleasant surprise. Therefore, Fire Dance immediately agreed and asked about her future plans. Come, this token is for you. Take it to the Martial Spirit Palace, and there will be people who will arrange your future matters. Of course, if you encounter any obstacles while leaving the Heaven Do Empire, You can also use this token to seek help from the Martial Spirit Palace. Wang Kai explained as he took out a black token from his spatial ring and handed it to Fire Dance. Thank you, Your Highness. Fire Dance thanked him as she received the token. It's nothing. By the way, Miss Fire Dance, your brother Wu Shuang is also very strong. I wonder if he has any intention of joining our Martial Spirit Palace after graduation. If he is willing, I can guarantee that he will receive the best guidance in the Martial Spirit Palace. He can even have a titled Deluo as his mentor. Looking at Fire Dance, Wang Kai continued to ask, Thank you, Your Highness, for thinking highly of my brother. However, Brother Wu Shuang has already made up his mind to stay in the Heaven Do Empire and intends to join the Seven Treasures Glaze sect. Your Highness may be disappointed. Hearing Wang Kai's question, Fire Dance also answered in detail. That's a pity. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. Goodbye, Miss Fire Dance. Saying goodbye to Fire Dance, Wang Kai walked towards the Green Xian Hall. Yes, goodbye, Your Highness Wang Kai. While bowing politely to Wang Kai, Fire Dance also walked towards the hotel where the Blazing Academy was located. Shui, Yu Xian, Qing Li Yiling, I'm here. After returning to the Green Xian Hall, Wang Kai also came in front of the four beautiful girls and said with a smile, Congratulations, Brother Wang Kai. Looking at Wang Kai, Chihiro Snow revealed a gentle smile on her face and then leaned close to him. Wearing a pure white lace dress, Chihiro Snow's aura was incomparably noble and beautiful. Like an angel, one could not help but want to conquer her. Yes, Your Highness Wang Kai is really amazing. Following closely was Ning Yuxian from the Seven Treasures Glaze sect. Dressed in a pink uniform, Ning Yuxian's face was delicate and beautiful. She exuded a scholarly and cultured aura that made people feel relaxed and happy. Your Highness Wang Kai, we really admire you. You're really amazing. Following which, Dai Qingli and Zhu Yiling from the Star Luo Empire also gave their blessings. Following which, they surrounded Wang Kai and had intimate contact with him. Thank you all. Looking at the four girls around him, Wang Kai revealed a satisfied smile on his face. Becoming champion of the Soul Master Tournament and having so many beautiful girls as his companions. Such a life was really satisfying. Brother Wang Kai, the tournament is over. You must be tired, right? Tonight, let the four of us play games with you to relieve your stress. At this moment, Chihiro Snow, who was the leader, also came close to Wang Kai's ear and asked with a trace of excitement. Of course, I've been busy with the tournament these few days, so you all must be very lonely. Let's have a good game together. Upon hearing Qian Rinchue's request, Wang Kai naturally agreed with a faint smile. After enjoying their dinner, an exciting game was about to begin. Chapter 267. After a sleepless night, Wang Kai left the Green Xian Hall the next morning. His soul was greatly relaxed, and his spiritual power felt like it was about to break through. Chihiro Snow, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling were also relieved of their loneliness and felt extremely happy. After leaving the Green Xian Hall, Wang Kai walked towards the Pontiff's Palace's arena. This time, Pope Bibidon also took the stage, and the top three teams came to the center of the arena. The champions of this year's Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Tournament are the Martial Soul Hall. Congratulations, young genius soul masters, Bibidon said with a smile as he walked towards the Martial Soul Hall's team. He took out the 4 rings from his spatial ring. Thank you, Your Holiness. After bowing to Bibidon, Wang Kai took the soul bone from Bibidon's hand and returned to his team. At this moment, extremely greedy gazes were cast at him from all directions. After that, Bibidon went to the Martial Soul Hall's team and presented them with their prizes. The runner-up's prize wasn't a rare treasure like a soul bone, but it was still extremely precious. After that, Bibidon asked Tang San if he was willing to join the Martial Soul Hall. Tang San naturally rejected the invitation. However, when Bibidon looked at Xiao Wu of Shrek's 7 Monsters, a strange light suddenly appeared in her eyes, but she quickly hid it. After that, Bibidon gave the prizes to the 3rd-place team from the Imperial Star Luo Academy. After that, He left the arena, and the Holy Dragon Law gave the prizes to the 4th to 8th place teams. After all the teams received their prizes, BB Dawn went up again and announced the end of the tournament. Everyone can leave now, but she has to stay. After that, BB Dawn pointed at Xiao Wu. Immediately, the rest of the Shrek Academy members were shocked. Tang, since subconsciously moved in front of Xiao Wu. Yu Xiaojing was also shocked. He stepped forward and asked loudly, "Your Holiness, what do you mean by this?" "What do I mean? It seems like you still haven't seen through her. This student named Xiao Wu isn't a human. She's a soul beast in human form." BB Dawn sneered as he looked at Yu Xiaojing. "What did you say?" After hearing Bibidon's words, Yu Xiaojing couldn't help but exclaim loudly. After that, he turned to look at Xiao Wu. Apart from Tang San, the rest of the Shrek Academy members were extremely shocked. "I said, Xiao Wu is a 100,000-year soul beast in human form. Guate Daw, Chrysanthemum Daw, 2 elders, let's do it," BB Dawn said again as he looked at Xiao Wu with a burning gaze. After receiving Bibidon's order, Chrysanthemum Daw and Gate Daw stepped forward and prepared to attack. After hearing Bibidon's words, Xiao Wu's face turned pale. Her eyes were filled with resentment. Beside her, Ning Rongrong looked at her father, Ning Fengji. "Father, Sister Xiao Wu isn't a soul beast. The Martial Soul Hall wants to capture my good friend. Are you not going to do anything about it?" Looking at Ning Rongrong, Ning Fengji revealed a helpless look. Originally, the Seven Treasures Glaze sect had established a relationship with the Martial Soul Hall through Ning Yuxian. However, after seeing Ning Rongrong, who had also awakened the 9 Treasures Glaze Pagoda, Ning Fengji couldn't just ignore it. Furthermore, the 2 pillars of the sect, the Sword de Law and the Bone de Law, had always liked Ning Rongrong. Even if he didn't say anything, the 2 of them would probably step forward. "Your Highness, there's no evidence. It's not very good to capture people like this, right? I think it's better to show evidence before capturing people. That's more appropriate, right?" There was a look of struggle in Ning Fengji's eyes, but he still stepped forward and said, "Sect Master Ning, please have some self-respect. Are my observations not enough to be used as evidence? If you continue to obstruct us, the Martial Soul Hall will treat the 7 Treasures Glazed sect as an enemy." Although Ning Fengji was one of the sect masters of the 3 upper sects, Bibidon's voice didn't have a hint of backing down. After hearing Bibidon's words, the rest of the titled Daw from the Martial Soul Hall stood up and stared coldly at Ning Fengji. After hearing Bibidon's words and sensing the deterrence in the eyes of almost 10 titled Daw from the Martial Soul Hall, Ning Fengji's expression changed. In the end, he sighed and retreated to one side. Although the 7 Treasures Glaze sect had a strong foundation and was the wealthiest sect, there weren't many powerful people in the sect. If they had to become enemies with the Martial Soul Hall because of love, Ning Fengji couldn't accept it. However, he still said, "Since that's the case, I won't interfere too much. But I want you to promise me that you won't hurt my daughter, Ning Rongrong." "No problem. Elders, let's do it." I didn't expect that this fish that escaped the net would actually deliver itself to my doorstep. Seeing that no one was stopping him, BB Dawn ordered again. "Wait a minute, you don't have any evidence. You can't capture my student like this." At this moment, Yu Xiaojing shouted and strode forward. He came to the front of Shrek's 7 monsters and flipped his wrist. The Elder's token appeared in his hand. "Your Holiness?" Chrysanthemum Dole revealed a serious look as she looked at the token in Yu Xiaojing's hand. After that, she looked at BB Dawn. "Take her down. If anyone else dares to stop her, kill them." Although she had a complicated look in her eyes, she still ordered sternly, "If you want to capture her, you'll have to step over my dead body." At this moment, Tang San also took a step forward. He walked in front of Xiao Wu and looked at her affectionately. "Elder brother, you..." Xiao Wu was also looking at Tang San affectionately. She was a little speechless. "I understand. In fact, I already knew that you weren't human. But what does that matter? As long as there's love, what does it matter if you're human or not? I only know that you're my sister and the person I love." Tang San continued to look at Xiao Wu affectionately. The 7 monsters are one. As the eldest brother, how can I watch as my sister-in-law is captured? At this moment, Dai Mubai also took a step forward. He stood firmly beside Tang San. Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar followed behind him. Although they were facing a tidal duel, the 5 of them revealed the same determination. They didn't show any fear. As teachers, how can we let our students be bullied? Flinder suddenly laughed. After that, he exchanged a look with Lu Erlong and Yu Xiaojiang. They raised their right hands at the same time. Suddenly, brilliant golden light appeared out of nowhere. The surging light flashed and outlined a dazzling golden triangle in the air. Chapter 268. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. The chrysanthemum Doloa and the ghost Doloa wore mocking looks on their faces as they looked at the Shrek 7 monsters and the golden iron triangle. After that, they released their martial souls, and 9 soul rings revolved around their backs as they unleashed their soul skills toward the golden iron triangle. Oomph! Chrysanthemum Doloa, ghost of all, how dare you 2 loser generals hurt my son? Get out of my way! A low voice suddenly sounded in the sky, like a thunderclap. Not only was this voice deafening, but it was also very domineering. All the soul masters present couldn't help but tremble. Even Wang Kai felt his heartbeat quicken. Following this voice, a black voice descended from the sky like a bolt of lightning. It floated quietly in midair. After that, it stretched out its hand and pushed forward. A sonic boom sounded. Chrysanthemum Daw and Fei Daw, the 2 tidal Daw, shot back like cannonballs. They only managed to stop after retreating several dozen steps. However, their faces were flushed red. To be able to push back 2 tidal Doloa with a single strike, this person's strength was truly terrifying. At this moment, Wang Kai finally calmed himself down. He looked at the figure in the sky. This was a middle-aged man who looked to be around 50 years old. He was tall and burly, and he exuded a domineering aura. However, it didn't match his aura. His attire wasn't very flattering. This man was wearing a tattered robe. There weren't even any patches on it, revealing his bronze skin. His facial features were regular, but there was a waxy yellow layer on the outside. He didn't look very energetic either. He looked sleepy, and his hair and beard were as messy as a bird's nest. It was unknown how many days he hadn't tidied them up. Tang Hao, looking at the figure in the sky, Bibi Don was furious. At the same time, he shouted, "Father!" Seeing the figure in the air, Tang San's eyes revealed the joy of surviving a great calamity. Tears faintly flowed out of his eyes due to the joy of surviving a calamity, while his mouth shouted with surprise. Yes, this old man who appeared out of thin air was Tang San's father, Tang Hao, rank 97 Doa at the peak. Behind him, there was a huge black hammer floating. That was Tang Hao's martial soul, the clear sky hammer. All of you did well. Looking at Shrek's 7 monsters and the golden iron triangle surrounding Tang San, Tang Hao's eyes revealed a look of satisfaction and nostalgia. After that, he turned his gaze towards Bibi Don in the distance. Bibi Don, you are very good. You actually dare to threaten my son. You are really bold. Staring at Bibi Don in the distance, Tang Hao's eyes flashed. After that, he raised the clear sky hammer behind him high up. In the blink of an eye, 1 soul ring after another slowly rose from beneath Tang Hao's feet. The speed at which these soul rings rose wasn't fast, but with the appearance of each dim, yellow soul ring, Tang Hao's aura became increasingly terrifying. Although he was standing alone in the middle of the stage, his aura seemed to overshadow a magnificent army with thousands of men and horses. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red. 9 soul rings floated behind Tang Hao. They were very conspicuous and eye-catching. Tang Hao, don't be so presumptuous just because you were lucky enough to beat the martial soul hall back then. Looking at Tang Hao in the distance, Bibidon's beautiful eyes revealed a look of anger. At the same time, she snorted coldly. In the next moment, Bibi Don put down the scepter in her hand. After that, she took a step forward. Suddenly, a huge light projection rose behind her. At the same time, 9 dazzling soul rings rose instantly. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red. Behind BB Dawn was the same soul ring configuration. It was also the rarest 100,000-year soul ring in the Dolua continent. You've improved a little. However, BB Dawn, do you think you have the ability to keep me here? Looking at BB Dawn in front of him, Tang Hao raised his head and laughed. After that, he raised the clear sky hammer in his hand. Look carefully, Sanar. This is the true clear sky body. As he spoke, Tang Hao activated the soul power in his body. Boundless soul power surged towards the clear sky hammer. After hearing Tang Hao's words, Tang San was immediately energized. After that, he looked at Tang Hao in the sky. At this moment, Tang Hao's 7th soul ring suddenly shone behind him. In the next second, the huge black clear sky hammer in Tang Hao's hand suddenly shone. Intense black light surged. The huge clear sky hammer faced the wind and actually instantly elongated. It became a huge hammerhead that was more than 100 meters long. It was like a small mountain. Following the appearance of the clear sky body, Tang Hao's aura increased once again. It even overshadowed BB Dawn, Chrysanthemum Doloa, and Gue Doloa combined. In the next moment, Tang Hao waved the huge clear sky hammer in his hand and slowly smashed it down. Not only that, as the clear sky hammer fell, red patterns surfaced on both sides of the hammer. At the same time, Tang Hao's 100,000-year soul rings suddenly lit up. Heaven and earth splitting hammer. Following Tang Hao's maniacal laughter, the huge hammer that was more than 100 meters long in the sky suddenly descended. It carried a terrifying force as it swept towards BB Dawn and the other 2 titled Doloa. At this moment, the air in the entire martial spirit hall became distorted. Apart from the powerful titled Doloa, the other soul masters couldn't move at all. Even Wang Kai was no exception. He could only watch as the clear sky hammer descended. Tang Hao, don't you dare. Looking at the clear sky hammer in the sky, Bibidon's eyes almost spat out sparks. After that, Chrysanthemum Thaw and Gay soared into the sky at the same time. They used their soul skills to receive the huge hammer in the sky. At the same time, the other titled Daw from the martial spirit hall flashed out from all directions. A total of 9 figures met the clear sky hammer in the sky at the same time. Faced with Tang Hao's hammer, they had to receive it even if they didn't want to. If this hammer really landed, half of Martial Spirit City would at least be reduced to rubble, not to mention the subordinates and soul masters of the Martial Spirit Hall. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out. Apart from Wang Kai, the minds of all the soul masters below rank 70 instantly went blank. After that, they fainted amidst the indescribable explosion. Even Wang Kai and many other soul sages felt dizzy. They lost all ability to think when they collided. Not only that, but a terrifying shockwave was also unleashed from the point of collision in midair. It spread wildly in all directions. Under the shock of this shockwave, the entire martial spirit holy city trembled violently. It was as if there was an earthquake. The leaves in the city also fell from the shockwave. It was a withered scene. Chapter 269. Following this loud boom, the 9 titled Daw from the Martial Soul Hall were also smashed down by the clear sky hammer. Of course, the hammer in midair disappeared after being attacked by the 9 titled Daw. Tang Hao also spat out a mouthful of blood because of the counterattack. BB Dawn, just you wait. I'll make the Martial Soul Hall pay for what they owe me one day. Furthermore, that day isn't far away. Amidst the terrifying shockwaves from the collision, Tang Hao's figure had already quietly disappeared. Disappearing along with him was the unconscious Tang, San, and Xiao Wu, leaving behind only the deafening sound of Tang Hao's wild laughter and threats in the air. Damn it, he's gone too far. BB Dong's eyes were filled with anger as he watched Tang Hao disappear. Your Highness, do you want to? At this moment, Gao whispered to BB Dong, what's the matter? There's no need to chase. It's useless. BB Dong sounded a little dejected as she looked at the sky. After becoming a titled Delua, Bibi Don thought that she had the ability to fight Tang Hao. However, she didn't expect her aura and fighting strength to be far inferior to Tang Hao's, even though her soul rings were the same as Tang Hao's. Vast Idol, what a vast sky Doluo! The 9 titled Doluo from the Martial Soul Hall were only able to destroy Tang Hao's soul skills and injure him. They couldn't keep him here. Tang Hao's abilities weren't hard to imagine. Your Highness, what should we do with these people? Moonlight asked as he pointed at Shrek's 5 monsters and the 8 people from the Golden Iron Triangle. Them? Thinking of Ning Rongrong, Dai Mubai, and Zhu Zhuqing's identities in Shrek's 7 monsters, Bibi Dong frowned and waved his hand. Tell them to scram within 2 hours. Martial Soul Holy City will never welcome them. After that, Bibi Dong laughed coldly as she looked at the Golden Iron Triangle. You Xiaojiang, very good. Very good. I'll let you off this time out of consideration for our past relationship. However, the next time you appear in front of me, you'll die. After he finished speaking, Bibi Dong left with the other titled Dalaw. The Holy Lotus Daw stayed behind and used her soul power to unleash her soul skills and heal the unconscious soul masters. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, a month had passed since the incident in the Soul Master Tournament. On one side, Tang San rescued Xiao Wu and Tang San. After explaining things to Xiao Wu bade Tang San farewell with tears in her eyes and returned to the depths of the Great Star Do forest to cultivate. Tang San followed Tang Hao, and the father and son remained in the Great Star Do forest to receive special cultivation and training. On the other side, Wang Kai, who was staying in Martial Soul Holy City, was enjoying the blessings of having 2 wives. After the award ceremony ended, Yi Lingling moved into the Green Xian Hall and became a new member of Wang Kai's big family. As new members of Wang Kai's big family, Chihiro Snow, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling were very modest towards Yi Lingling and allowed her to play games with Wang Kai first. Wang Kai also couldn't wait to have a taste of Yi Lingling, who was mysterious and beautiful. Soon, Li Ning also successfully completed the mission Wang Kai gave him. He brought Yi Lingling's mother and sister from the 9-hearted Begonia sect. Seeing that her family had been rescued, Yi Lingling completely submitted to Wang Kai, and her family also settled down in Martial Soul Holy City. A week later, the sisters arrived as promised. After completing the graduation ceremony, the sisters bade farewell to their teammates, teachers, and elders, and came to Martial Soul Holy City and moved into the Green Xian Hall. With the sisters moving in, Wang Kai's big family expanded to 7 members. As newcomers, the sisters definitely enjoyed the privilege of playing games with Wang Kai first. Wang Kai didn't hold back and conquered the sisters, filling their loneliness and emptiness and branding them with Wang Kai's unique brand. The next one to arrive was Huo Wu. However, unlike the sisters, Huo Wu hadn't expressed her love for Wang Kai, and Wang Kai didn't have many thoughts about Huo Wu. Therefore, he didn't take the initiative to invite her. He only arranged for her to be part of the chosen saint's personal guards and trained by Li Ning. During this month, apart from a necessary cultivation, Wang Kai spent most of his time playing games with the 7 girls and Mo Shu. On one hand, Wang Kai wanted to make up for the neglect he gave the girls in the competition. On the other hand, Wang Kai was about to set off for the capital of Massacre. This trip might last for a year or even longer. Before he left, Wang Kai definitely needed to make the girls feel better. Martial Soul Holy City, Sendoryu's residence. After explaining his plan to the women, they all expressed their support and encouragement. Although Chihiro Snow and the others hoped that they could play games with Wang Kai at any time and receive his love and care, the members of Wang Kai's family weren't selfish and bad girls. They didn't want to delay Wang Kai's development because of their own desires. Because of this, when they learned that Wang Kai was preparing to leave, none of the girls in Wang Kai's family were unreasonable. They all silently contributed themselves in the last game before leaving, trying to give Wang Kai the best experience and bring back the best memories for themselves. Master, recently when I was cultivating, I felt the call of my bloodline. This call came from the southwest. I have a premonition that there will be a great opportunity for me in this place. I want to leave the martial spirit palace and go there to fight for the opportunity. Master, please allow me. Wang Kai came before Sindoryu and bowed. The southwest direction, the call of your bloodline? Looking at Wang Kai, Sindoryu's eyes revealed a trace of understanding. Disciple, I think I know where the place that is calling you is. On the Doloa continent. There is a secret realm called the Massacre Capital, which happens to be southwest of our martial soul holy city. According to legend, the capital of slaughter was created by the god of the god realm, the Azura god, with his supreme magic power. There are even rumors that the Azura god left behind his own inheritance in the capital of slaughter. Wang Kai, your martial soul is Shura, which is the same as the god's martial soul. I think it is very likely that the god is calling you through the power of your bloodline to go to the Massacre Capital to accept his inheritance. Eyes flashing with excitement, Sindoryu stared closely at Wang Kai, and his tone couldn't help but become excited. It's done. Looking at Sindoryu's appearance, Wang Kai snickered in his heart. By revealing some information, he had successfully led Sindoryu's thoughts to the Massacre Capital. Knowing that there was a god's inheritance there, Sindoryu would definitely not obstruct him from going to the Massacre Capital. Not only that, after going to the Massacre Capital, he could use the name of God Shura's inheritance to increase the age of his soul rings and soul bones, and this would not attract Sindoryu's suspicion. In addition, Wang Kai could also use the name of the god's assessment mission to facilitate him leaving the martial soul palace to hunt soul beasts in the future. There were really many benefits. Chapter 270. Of course, it was absolutely impossible for Wang Kai himself to accept God Shura's inheritance, and Wang Kai's previous explanation to Sindoryu was only to cover up his own secret. First of all, if Wang Kai accepted God Shura's inheritance, it meant that Wang Kai would be bound by God Shura's path, and it would be very difficult for him to surpass God Shura's achievements in the future, and his development would be blocked. Although God Shura was the strongest person in the Dolua continent's god realm, and one of the 5 great divine kings, compared to the countless strong people in the vast astral world, this God Shura was just a very ordinary existence, and there was nothing praiseworthy about him. Therefore, for Wang Kai, who had the infinite martial soul system, accepting God Shura's inheritance would definitely lower his advancement potential. Even if he could break through faster in a short period of time, in the long run, it would be a disaster for Wang Kai. Secondly, there was the problem of Wang Kai's identity. Wang Kai was originally a transmigrator, and unlike Tang San, Wang Kai was not a transmigrator chosen by the gods. In addition, he chose the path of conqueror, so Wang Kai was the enemy of the gods who occupied the Doa continent, and was also the enemy of the Doa continent's world consciousness, which was controlled by the gods. Because of the help of the infinite martial soul system, Wang Kai could hide the hostility of the world consciousness and not be discovered by the gods. If Wang Kai wanted to accept God Shura's inheritance, he would definitely be scanned by God Shura's divine soul. At that time, his true identity would be exposed, and he would definitely be enraged by the gods. For Wang Kai, it would be even more dangerous. Because of these 2 reasons, Wang Kai would definitely not accept God Shura's inheritance. However, this did not mean that Massacre City had no benefits for him. On the contrary, even without the system, Wang Kai still wanted to go to Massacre City to gain experience. Wang Kai was already 12 years old. In the 6 years since he came to the Doa continent, although he had personally killed many soul beasts, Wang Kai had only killed 1 soul master, Dugabo. Therefore, Wang Kai needed to go to Massacre City to gain experience. The capital of slaughter? Master, I understand. Please allow me to go to Massacre City to accept the test. His heart was as calm as an ancient well, but Wang Kai revealed a joyful expression on his face as he continued to plead. Of course, this is an opportunity that belongs to you. Why should I stop you? However, I have to remind you that the Massacre City is extremely dangerous. You can't use any soul power or soul skills inside. Furthermore, those who enter the Massacre City are all extremely vicious and evil people. You must be prepared before you set off. With a smile on his face, Sendoryu reminded him considerately. Thank you for your reminder, Master. I plan to prepare for a week before setting off. What do you think, Master? After hearing Sendoryu's words, Wang Kai's heart warmed slightly, and he asked for instructions again. No problem. During this period of time, you have to accompany Shui and the others. Once you enter Massacre City, it will take you a year or even 2 years to come out. In addition, you need to accept God Shura's inheritance, so it might take even longer. Do you understand? After hearing Wang Kai's words, Sendoryu nodded silently, and then reminded him. I will, Master. After speaking, Wang Kai left Sendoryu's residence. A week later, Shui, Yuxian, Qingli, Yilingbing, Lingling, I'll be leaving now. When I leave, you must cultivate well and listen to Shui obediently. Do you understand? Looking at the 7 devastatingly beautiful girls who came to send him off, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a trace of reluctance, but it quickly turned into determination. In the past week, Wang Kai had fed these 7 beautiful girls with his life source fluid. Wang Kai himself had also obtained extreme happiness in the game time after time. However, time waits for no one. Now was the time to leave. Although beauties were good, in order to protect his own women, he must have sufficient strength. We understand, Brother Wang Kai, Prince Wang Kai husband. After hearing Wang Kai's reminder, the girls' faces revealed reluctance, and then they agreed in unison. Okay, then I'll set off. After kissing the 7 beautiful girls goodbye, Wang Kai kept savoring the 7 unique tastes in his mouth. Then he left Martial Spirit Saint City and ran towards the Massacre City in the southwest direction. After a day of silence, Wang Kai was almost 2,000 kilometers away from Martial Spirit Saint City. At this time, Wang Kai had arrived in front of a small town. The town did not seem big, but it was unusually gloomy and gave off an extremely strange atmosphere. As soon as Wang Kai entered the town, he felt that the people around him had a special chill. After walking through the town for a while, Wang Kai arrived in front of a tavern in the middle of the town. This was one of the entrances to the Massacre City. After entering the tavern, the air in the tavern was very murky, and there was a faint smell of blood. What was even more strange was that all the decorations in the tavern were black. The tables, the wine cabinets, the stage, and even the wine glasses that people used to drink were no exception. Although it was daytime outside, a dark and gloomy feeling immediately rose in one's heart when they entered the tavern. Unlike ordinary taverns, the atmosphere in this tavern was unusually calm. There were no singing or dancing girls, and even very few people were talking. Wang Kai's arrival attracted the attention of many people. Of course, most of these people's gazes only swept past Wang Kai and did not linger on Wang Kai's face for long. He found a corner seat and sat down alone. At this time, a black-clothed waiter with a cold expression walked over. Sir, what would you like to order? I don't want anything, but I want to go to that place. Wang Kai replied coldly. Are you sure? Looking at Wang Kai's young face, the waiter was surprised. Yes. After coldly glancing at the waiter, Wang Kai replied indifferently. Okay, give me 100 gold soul coins, and you can participate in this weekend's night of slaughter. Gather 10 tokens, and you'll be qualified to enter the Massacre City. No problem. Here you go. With a faint smile, Wang Kai took out a bag of gold soul coins from his pocket and handed it to the waiter. The waiter opened the bag and glanced at it. Without counting the amount, he directly put it away. After that, he took out a black token from his pocket and handed it to Wang Kai. Young man, good luck. Wang Kai took the token from the waiter and glanced at it. There were a few blood-red numbers 202 on it. After that, he put it in his pocket and found a room to stay in. Chapter 271. Wang Kai came at the right time. The night of slaughter would officially begin the next night. The city of slaughter wasn't a place that could be entered just because one wanted to. If one wanted to enter the city of slaughter, they had to pass the night of slaughter, which was held once a week. Only then would they have the chance to enter. After paying the registration fee of 100 gold soul coins, the registered soul master would be able to obtain the qualifications to participate in the night of slaughter and a command medallion. Furthermore, if one could kill 10 opponents in the night of slaughter and obtain their command medallions, one would be able to enter the capital of slaughter. The token in Wang Kai's hand was number 202. This meant that he was the 202nd participant in the Night of Slaughter. As for the rest of the people who remained in the town, other than the staff members, they were basically soul masters who wanted to enter the city of slaughter through the Night of Slaughter. A day passed very quickly. After entering the small plane to cultivate for a period of time and playing some relaxing games with Mo Shu, it was soon the night of the second day. Dong, dong, dong. 3 dull sounds of a bell rang out from the center of the town. Following the ringing of the bell, the Night of Slaughter officially began. From now until 6 in the morning, the town would become a bloody place with no rules. It's starting. What a night I'm looking forward to. With a charming smile on his face, Wang Kai walked out of the guest room and arrived at the empty, silent, and dark street. Emperor Shura's possession. Shura's Emperor armor. After slightly channeling his soul power, Wang Kai immediately entered the state of Shura's possession. At the same time, he summoned Shura's Emperor armor to protect himself. Although Wang Kai didn't see any soul sages among the participants of the Night of Slaughter, Wang Kai still carefully prepared his defenses. After all, in this pitch-black darkness, he didn't know where there were hidden dangers. The Night of Slaughter was completely different from the Soul Master Tournament. During the Night of Slaughter, there were no other rules other than not attacking the staff of Slaughtertown. This meant that hidden weapons, poison, assassination, traps, and so on could be used. Wang Kai didn't want to fail miserably at such an easy task. Walking on the streets of the town, Wang Kai slightly released his mental power to detect the surrounding situation. The town was not small, but for Wang Kai, who had mental power, it was not a big problem. After just 100 steps, Wang Kai's spiritual power had already locked onto his first enemy, a rank 51 Soul King who was hiding in the shadows. Shura Bloodclaw. Wang Kai secretly activated his soul power, and his first soul ring lit up in the night. However, it didn't reveal anything. Following which, 2 blood-red claw marks tore through the night sky and shot towards the chest of the Soul Master who was lying in ambush. Pucci. Accompanied by the sound of flesh being torn apart, Shura's blood-red claw tore open the Soul Master's chest, revealing the scarlet innards inside. Fresh blood spurted out. Although it was only Wang Kai's first soul skill, Shura's blood claw was still a 10,000-year soul skill. It was very destructive. Coupled with Wang Kai's frightening soul power, its strength was comparable to a mid-level Soul Emperor's all-out attack. Not only that, but Wang Kai's attack was also a sudden sneak attack. The Soul Master didn't have time to activate his soul skill to defend himself, so it was natural for him to be killed. After suffering such a heavy injury, the Soul Master could no longer maintain his body. Under the corrosion of Shura's baleful aura, the Soul Master didn't even have time to scream in pain before he died in half a second. Killed a rank 51 Soul King. Obtained experience plus 16 sources. Obtained points plus 1,600. Special reward for the City of Massacre mission. Obtained additional experience plus 144 sources. 2 notifications sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Wang Kai's eyes immediately revealed a trace of passion. This is great. Just killing a rank 53 Soul King gave me such a rich reward. It seems like my cultivation in the City of Massacre will be very smooth. One had to know that even if Wang Kai killed a 10,000-year soul beast, he would only obtain a few hundred sources of experience. But after receiving the reward from the mission, killing a Soul King would give him about the same amount of experience. The difference in difficulty between killing a 10,000-year soul beast and killing a Soul King was self-evident. To be able to gain experience so quickly was a very good thing for Wang Kai. Continue. His eyes flashing with excitement and passion, Wang Kai walked over to the corpse of the Soul Master. Just as he was about to pick up the Soul Master's command medallion, Wang Kai suddenly felt a gust of wind behind him. You dare to sneak attack me? Suppress him for me. Not revealing a trace of panic on his face, Wang Kai poured his soul power into his arms. Then, he suddenly turned around and fiercely slammed his hands behind him, Reflected in Wang Kai's eyes was a 2-meter-tall soul master with a body full of muscles. His eyes flashed with red light, and his skin was covered in black hair. Using his appraisal eye, he saw that this soul master was a rank 57 soul king. His martial soul was an explosive black bear. Bang! A loud sound rang out. The black bear soul master only felt a huge force come over him. His arms were in extreme pain, as if they didn't belong to him anymore. Although this black bear soul master used a soul skill when he attacked, Wang Kai's absolute strength suppressed him. His all-out attack couldn't even make Wang Kai retreat half a step. Instead, Wang Kai's attack shattered the bones in his arms. His internal organs were also in turmoil, and he immediately let out a miserable scream. Shura's dragon-slaying spear. With a thought, Wang Kai circulated his soul power and reached out with his right hand. Behind him, his third soul ring flashed. The blood-red Shura's power condensed in Wang Kai's hand, forming a mighty and domineering blood-red spear. Sir, I beg you, please don't kill me." Seeing Wang Kai silently walk towards him, the black bear soul master begged for mercy. However, Wang Kai didn't reply. He only calmly raised his hand and pulled out his spear. The thick tip of the Shura's dragon-slaying spear pierced through the black bear soul master's neck. After that, Wang Kai coldly withdrew his hand. A fist-sized hole appeared in the black bear soul master's neck. Blood flowed out nonstop. His neck tilted, and his large body fell to the side dead. Killed a rank 57 Soul King. Received plus 23 experience. Received plus 2,300 points. Capital of Massacre Mission Special Reward. Received plus 207 additional experience. 2 system notifications rang out in Wang Kai's mind. A faint smile appeared on Wang Kai's face. Not bad. Nodding slightly, Wang Kai reached out and searched the bodies of the 2 dead Soul Kings. Very quickly, he found 2 black tokens. Although they were soaked in the blood of the 2 dead Soul Kings, the tokens were strangely unstained. After finding the tokens, Wang Kai calmly placed them in his bag. After that, he searched for his next target. Chapter 272. I found my next prey. After leaving the alley where he'd killed the 2 Soul Kings, Wang Kai once again searched for traces of the Soul Masters who participated in the Night of Slaughter. Very soon, the next enemy appeared within the range of his spiritual power. It was a middle-aged man with slightly white hair, a gloomy face, and a height of about 1.8 meters. In his hand, he held a slightly shining long saber, which was clearly his martial soul. "Go to hell!" Shouting in his heart, Wang Kai raised his right hand and threw the blood-red Shura's Dragon Slayer spear at him. Whoosh! The sound of the spear rang out as a blood-red light streaked across the night sky. It pierced through the man's chest and nailed him to the wall. Under Wang Kai's control, the Shura's Dragon Slayer spear pierced through the man's heart. The man didn't even have time to scream before his consciousness sank into eternal darkness. At the same time, 2 system notifications rang out in Wang Kai's mind. You've killed a rank 44 soul ancestor. You've received 1 source of experience, 2,000 source of origin, 120 points. Special reward for completing the Night of Slaughter mission. You've received an additional 10 source of experience, 8,000 source of origin. Wang Kai revealed a demonic smile when he saw the man lose control of his arm and fall powerlessly. He got up and walked to the man's side. He extended his right hand and pulled out the Azura Dragon killing spear from the man's corpse. Without support, the man's corpse fell to the ground softly. Blood gushed out from the large hole in his chest like a fountain, dyeing a large area around his corpse red. "I'll kindly accept your token." Bending down, Wang Kai searched the man's body and took out the token that wasn't stained with blood. After that, he strode away to find his next target. At this moment, Wang Kai heard the sound of an arrow again. Immediately after, an arrow flew towards Wang Kai's face. Insignificant skill. Looking at the arrows flying towards him, Wang Kai revealed a mocking smile and clenched his fist. Immediately, Wang Kai felt a slight numbness on the skin where he held the arrow. It was obvious that this was a poisoned arrow. However, with Wang Kai's powerful physique, this poisoned arrow was unable to cause any harm to Wang Kai. Found you. Go back to where you came from. Sensing the direction of the arrow, Wang Kai quickly locked onto the attacker. It was a man in a black robe hiding in the corner. Seeing Wang Kai holding the arrow, the man couldn't help but smile. But in the next moment, his smile instantly froze. Wang Kai swung the arrow in his hand in the direction of the man. The poisonous arrow flew back the way it came, and its speed increased several times. The man didn't even have time to react before he was hit in the forehead by the arrow. Accompanied by the muffled sound of bones breaking, the arrow had completely pierced into the man's head. There was no need for the poison on the arrow to take effect. Just the impact of the arrow itself was enough to shatter the man's frontal bone and completely crush his brain. He couldn't be more dead. Then, the corpse lost control and fell heavily to the side. The system notification sounded again. This time, Wang Kai received another 70 points of source experience. Striding to the side of the man in the black robe, Wang Kai smiled slightly. He bent down and took out the token and continued his hunt. Dong! 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 Time flew, and the sun slowly rose from the east. The night of slaughter was over, and Wang Kai's face also revealed a satisfied smile. Last night, almost all the contestants in the town were wiped out by Wang Kai. Only a few lucky guys survived. Wang Kai also obtained 7,000 source experience in this slaughter, and he was one step closer to the next promotion. Returning to the hotel he stayed in, Wang Kai also took a bath and cleaned up all the bloodstains on his body. Then, Wang Kai took the token to the bar in the center of the town. Compared to the previous time, the bar this time was incomparably spacious. Looking at Wang Kai, the faces of the waiters were filled with reverence. Although they didn't go out on the night of slaughter, looking at the empty bar and the bulging bag in Wang Kai's hand, it was self-evident what happened last night. Here, I think I'm qualified to enter the city of slaughter. Putting the bag in his hand on the counter, Wang Kai revealed a faint smile and asked, Yes, sir, of course you are qualified to enter the city of slaughter. Please take a few steps back. Looking at Wang Kai with awe, the waiter nodded and said in a low voice, Okay. With that, Wang Kai took 3 steps back while the waiter fumbled around the bar counter. It was unknown what kind of mechanism he had triggered, but the next moment, the black wooden bar counter suddenly fell to the ground, revealing a huge hole in the middle. Sir, this is the entrance to the city of slaughter, please. Pointing at the hole, the waiter tried to suppress the fear in his heart and said to Wang Kai, Very good. Looking at the hole in front of him that constantly sent cold wind, Wang Kai's face revealed a scorching color. Then, without hesitation, he jumped down and directly jumped into the dark hole on the ground. In an instant, Wang Kai's body was surrounded by endless darkness, and his entire body was submerged in it. After entering the darkness, Wang Kai only fell a few meters, and then he landed on the ground. Although the tunnel was very dark, with the characteristics of Emperor Shura's martial soul, Wang Kai could still see everything clearly in the darkness. At this moment, a long passageway extended downwards. A cold and gloomy aura constantly came from below, and there was a faint smell of blood in the wind. However, to Wang Kai, this kind of environment not only did not make him feel the slightest bit of fear, but instead made his heart beat faster and his blood boil. Looking up one last time, Wang Kai took big steps forward. 1 step, 2 steps. As Wang Kai walked forward, the tunnel became darker and darker. However, when Wang Kai walked 1,000 steps, a faint light appeared in front of him. Obviously, the city of slaughter was in front of him. 1,001 steps, 1,002 steps, 1,003 steps, 1,462 steps. When Wang Kai walked 1,462 steps, the tunnel finally came to an end, and in front of him was a huge door that was 10 meters tall. At the same time, a cold and arrogant voice came from all directions. Welcome to the city of slaughter. This is the capital of hell, a world full of slaughter and evil. Here, you can get everything you want, and the price is your life. Chapter 273. Walking out of the tunnel, Wang Kai looked around. What entered his eyes was a black city. Thick and wide black city walls made the city seem oppressive and austere. Above the massive city gates hung the words "Capital of Slaughter" in blood red, causing one to feel awe and reverence just by looking at it. Immediately after, Wang Kai raised his head to look at the sky. In the sky above the capital of Massacre, there was a purple moon shining in all directions. This moon was very low, and it seemed to be only a few hundred meters above the ground. Looking up, Wang Kai's vision was completely black, without a trace of light. It was like a pitch-black night. As if sensing Wang Kai's arrival, the tall black city gate slowly opened, and a group of soldiers rushed out. There were a total of 101 people. These 101 soldiers were all dressed in black armor, and even their faces were covered by black helmets. The leader was sitting on a tall war horse covered in black armor, and he held a long spear in his hand. The soldiers behind him held heavy swords, and they were full of killing intent. "Welcome to the capital of Massacre." The rider on the war horse came in front of Wang Kai and said coldly. His tone was very cold and low, and it didn't seem like it came from a human's mouth. At this moment, Wang Kai also sensed his own condition. To ordinary soul masters, due to the restrictions of the capital of Massacre's special rules, all their soul skills would be ineffective when they came to the capital of Massacre. However, even though their soul skills were restricted, the soul master's soul force and blood energy were still present. They could still use the most basic form of their martial souls. For soul masters with tool martial souls, they could still release their tool martial souls to fight. For soul masters with beast martial souls, they could use their martial souls to possess their martial souls. Apart from that, the rules of the capital of Massacre only restricted soul skills. Therefore, if it was a soul skill from a soul bone or a self-created soul skill, it wouldn't be affected in the capital of Massacre. However, soul masters like this were all extremely talented people, and almost none of them would enter the capital of Massacre. Of course, this was only for ordinary soul masters. To Wang Kai, his 3 martial souls were all God's martial souls, and his first martial soul was Emperor Shura, which was an existence above Shura's power in the capital of Massacre. Therefore, the rules of the capital of Massacre were ineffective against Wang Kai, and his soul skills weren't restricted at all. However, Wang Kai wasn't foolish enough to reveal his soul skills in the capital of Massacre, because that would bring him a lot of trouble. With his self-created soul skills and Emperor Shura's superb physique, it was enough for him to look down on the capital of Massacre. As for Wang Kai's purpose in coming to the capital of Massacre, there were 2. First, he wanted to kill his enemies personally to cultivate his killing aura. Second, he wanted to accumulate enough experience so that he could quickly become a soul sage. As for the Massacre domain that others dreamed of, it was only a small bonus. As Wang Kai's strength increased, Wang Kai could awaken an even stronger Shura's domain, which was many times stronger than the Massacre domain. However, because he wasn't prepared to use soul skills, Wang Kai couldn't use his Shura's dragon-slaying spear. Because of this, Wang Kai was prepared to use the soul tool that he had obtained from the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect, the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. This soul tool that had been passed down from ancient times was powerful and incomparably sharp, which was just right for him to use. In order to complement this treasure sword, Wang Kai also got Xiao Guang to deduce a set of 49 styles of the fatal 7-kill sword. This set of sword techniques would definitely become the nightmare of the residents of the capital of Massacre. At this moment, the knight handed a black token to Wang Kai. This was a token made of an unknown metal, and there was an extremely sinister skull carved on it. Below it was a number, 1145. Although the token wasn't big, it was abnormally heavy. With a rough estimate, it was actually about 1 kilogram. This is proof that you are in the capital of Massacre. Please enter the city, and there will be people to receive you at the city gates. I understand. After receiving the token from the knight, Wang Kai strode through the gates of the capital of Massacre. After walking through the gates, 2 rows of black-armored warriors stood there quietly. At this moment, a young lady with a black veil on her face walked forward. Welcome to the capital of massacre. I am your guide. If you have anything you don't understand, you can ask me. For 24 hours, I will answer all your questions. After 24 hours, this will be the place where you live. You will also officially become a member of the capital of massacre. When she arrived in front of Wang Kai, the young lady stopped and gestured for him to enter. She also spoke with a gentle and pleasant voice. I understand. Please bring me to the inner city. I want to participate in the slaughtering grounds. Wang Kai had already grasped the basic information about the capital of massacre, so he didn't need to ask too much. Instead, he directly ordered, Slaughtering grounds? Are you sure? Less than a tenth of the people who enter that place are able to walk out alive. That place is also the place where it is easiest to reduce the population of our slaughter city. Every person is only required to enter the hell slaughtering grounds once a year, and as long as they pass that battle, they can live in the slaughter city for another year. Looking at Wang Kai, the young lady's tone revealed a trace of surprise, and she explained to Wang Kai, That's right, I'm sure. I want to go to the slaughtering grounds now. With a trace of excitement in his eyes, Wang Kai smiled as he spoke. Since that's the case, please follow me. Seeing that Wang Kai had made up his mind, the young lady no longer tried to dissuade him. Instead, she led the way in front of Wang Kai. After walking into the city, Wang Kai saw a world of blue and purple. The lights on both sides of the streets only released these two lights, making the city quite dark. However, apart from this, the capital of massacre didn't seem much different from an ordinary city. Of course, this was only in the outer city of the capital of massacre. It was used to allow the cowards who didn't dare to participate in the slaughtering grounds to survive. There were law enforcers maintaining order, and killing was not allowed. Of course, as a price, the residents living in the outer city had to contribute 2 cups of Bloody Mary every month, which was about 1 kilogram of human blood. Not only that, but the treatment given to these cowards in Slaughter City was also very poor. These people only lived in simple black stone houses, and there were some special places to eat every once in a while. However, the food distributed here was only slightly better than the food of the beggars. The reason for this was very simple. Useless trash didn't have the right to enjoy in the depraved paradise of the capital of massacre. Only the truly powerful villains could obtain everything they wanted in the capital of massacre. Chapter 274. As Wang Kai and the young lady advanced, Wang Kai also saw many residents of the outer city. These residents were thin and their faces were pale. Some of them didn't even have much flesh on their bodies. If it weren't for the layer of skin covering their bodies, it would be easy to mistake them for skeletons. Moreover, their vitality was extremely weak, as if they could die at any moment. That's right, they contributed twice the amount of Bloody Mary every month, which was about half a kilogram of human blood. They didn't receive sufficient food supplements, and in this dark environment, it would be even more abnormal if they could maintain their normal physiques. After seeing the young lady in the black veil, the residents revealed a look of fear in their eyes and hurriedly hid in the darkness. As they walked through the outer city, Wang Kai found that the outer city was larger than he had imagined. After walking for about an hour, the black-veiled girl finally brought Wang Kai to a black city wall. Compared to the outer city of Massacre City, the height of the city wall wasn't very high. The highest point was only about 10 meters. Behind the city wall was the inner city of Massacre City. Compared to the outer city that was guarded by guards, the inner city gate was wide open without any guards. At this moment, the young lady in the black veil introduced to Wang Kai. Welcome to the inner city of the capital of massacre, a place filled with slaughter, chaos, sin, and enjoyment. After entering the inner city, please don't be more than 5 meters away from me. Otherwise, I can't guarantee your safety. Okay. Looking at the young lady in the black veil's solemn gaze, Wang Kai nodded and followed her into the inner city without hesitation. Unlike the dead, indifferent, and barren outer city, the inner city of the capital of massacre was undoubtedly a luxurious, crazy, and noisy world. All kinds of colorful lights could be seen everywhere. However, under this bustle there was deep chaos. excited laughter, painful screams, and many indescribable sounds between men and women were mixed together like a chaotic symphony. As far as the eye could see, fights and killings were everywhere. Indescribable mucus and blood were everywhere. The air was also filled with a thick smell of blood and some stone orchids that made one feel nauseous. Bring me to the slaughterhouse of hell. Looking at the chaotic inner city, Wang Kai frowned, but he did not say anything. After entering the massacre capital, he had tried to open a small plane, but he was not affected at all. As such, no matter how chaotic the city was, it had nothing to do with him. Yes, please come with me. Upon witnessing Wang Kai's expression, the young lady didn't say a word. Instead, she led Wang Kai into the inner city. Upon seeing the young lady in the black veil, the frenzied crowd revealed a hint of fear in their eyes. Then, they stepped aside, and no one dared to stir up trouble. The reason was simple. Even though the black-veiled girl beside Wang Kai didn't have strong soul force, she was still the emissary of the king of massacre. Even though those who could enter the inner city of the capital of massacre were all extremely daring and evil, no one dared to challenge the dignity of the king of massacre. Those who dared to do so all died, and they died very, very miserably. Let's go. The slaughterhouse of hell is right in front of us. It's the core of the capital of massacre. Another 15 minutes passed. Under the guidance of the black-veiled girl, Wang Kai saw a special building. Then, the black-veiled girl introduced it to Wang Kai with a sincere tone. This was a circular building. To be more precise, its shape was not a standard conical shape. The area at the bottom was the largest, and the higher it went, the narrower it became. At a height of about 30 meters from the ground, the building extended upward with the same diameter all the way to the top. In addition, the slaughterhouse of hell occupied a large area with a diameter of several hundred meters. It was only slightly smaller than the Great Soul Arena in the Martial Soul Holy City. Its location was located in the center of the entire capital of massacre, which showed how sacred and important its position was in the capital of massacre. When they arrived in front of the slaughterhouse of hell, a black plaque hung at the top of the entrance of the slaughterhouse of hell. Written on it were 5 ferocious blood-red words, Slaughterhouse of Hell. These 5 words seemed to have some kind of unique magic, exuding a terrifying aura that made people revere. On both sides of the slaughterhouse of hell, there were 2 huge stone tablets with some names written on them. The stone tablet on the left had many names, while the stone tablet on the right only had a few dozen names. What is this? Looking at the stone tablets outside the slaughterhouse of hell, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a trace of curiosity. You mean these 2 stone tablets? On the left are the names and victories of the 100 contestants with the highest number of victories. On the right is the name and title of the god of massacre, who completed 100 victories and successfully left the capital of massacre. Looking at the 2 stone tablets, the black-veiled girl revealed a trace of pride on her face. Then, she explained to Wang Kai. So that's how it is. Nodding, Wang Kai continued to look at the 2 stone tablets. On the stone tablet on the right, Wang Kai saw Tang Hao, BB Don, and other names that he was very familiar with. At the top of the stone tablet on the left, the contestant ranked first had 167 matches, and the contestant ranked last had 116 matches. 16 matches didn't seem like a very large number, but don't forget that the Slaughterhouse of Hell was different from the Soul Master Tournament. In each Slaughterhouse of Hell, only 1 out of 10 contestants could survive. Not only that, even the winner was likely to be ambushed after the competition. To be able to maintain a record of 16 matches was already quite a terrifying result. Take me to the competition. After looking at the stone tablet, Wang Kai nodded and continued. Of course, but if you want to enter the slaughterhouse of hell, you have to share a cup of Bloody Mary. Of course, this Bloody Mary can be yours, or it can be someone else's. Even the competition requires a Bloody Mary. Looking at the black-veiled girl, Wang Kai frowned slightly. Yes, this is one of the rules of the slaughterhouse of hell. If you don't even have the ability to get a cup of Bloody Mary, how could such a person be qualified to participate in the slaughterhouse of hell? With a professional faint smile on her face, the black-veiled girl dutifully explained to Wang Kai patiently. Okay, I got it. After speaking, Wang Kai turned his gaze to the road leading to the slaughterhouse of hell. There were a few people walking towards the slaughterhouse of hell, and each of them was holding a large cup of scarlet blood in their hands. Looking at these people, Wang Kai's face revealed a faint smile, and then he walked towards them. Chapter 275. Brother, I'll take your Bloody Mary. Coming to the front of the few people who were preparing to enter, Wang Kai looked at the person in the lead and then showed an elegant and easygoing smile. It was a tall and sturdy man with strong muscles all over his body. He was about 2 meters tall, and his upper body was naked. There was a big wolf head tattooed on his chest, and there were several crisscrossing, terrifying scars around the wolf head. He was full of a ferocious aura, making others not dare to approach him easily. Looking at Wang Kai, who was much thinner than him, the sturdy man lowered his head. His eyes flashed fiercely as if he was about to attack at any time. But then he saw the girl in black veil beside Wang Kai, and there was a trace of fear in his eyes. His movements also became hesitant. Mr. Number 1145, if you take the initiative to provoke, the newcomer protection won't work. At this time, the girl in black veil's anxious voice sounded, but this sentence not only reminded Wang Kai, but also reminded the sturdy man next to her. Hee, since you're courting death, don't blame me. It seems I'll have to add another one to my collection. With a grim smile, the sturdy man urged his soul power. The next moment, a 1-2 meter long machete with a cold light and incomparably sharp appeared in the sturdy man's right hand. Then, he suddenly raised a strong right arm and slashed at Wang Kai's face. Petty tricks. How dare you show off your slight skill in front of an expert? Looking at the machete slashing at him with a fierce wind, Wang Kai's face didn't show a trace of panic. He only showed a mocking expression, then took out the 9 Heavens soul-extinguishing sword from the space ring and gently pushed it forward. Song lang lang. Accompanied by an ear-piercing breaking sound, the machete in the sturdy man's hand was directly cut in half by Wang Kai's sword. The machete was the sturdy man's martial soul, and with his martial soul being so severely damaged, the sturdy man only felt his mind turn black and his consciousness become blurred. Then, his body fell heavily to the side. All right, thanks a lot. At this time, Wang Kai's footsteps moved slightly. His body turned into a shadow, and he took the cup of Bloody Mary from the strong man's hand. Then his wrist strangely shook a few times. During the process, not a single drop of blood spilled from the cup. Right, if I kill him here, there shouldn't be a problem, right? At this time, Wang Kai turned to the black-veiled girl next to him and said calmly, Of course not. In the inner city, there are no rules. You could do whatever you wanted. However, if you enter the infernal slaughterhouse, then unless you are a contestant, all attacks are prohibited. Those who violate the prohibition will be skinned alive and will only die after going through 81 types of torture. Hearing Wang Kai's question, the girl finally woke up from the shock and sluggishness just now. Then she quickly explained. Wang Kai's actions just now really left a great shock in the heart of the black-veiled girl. She knew that strong man. In the infernal slaughterhouse, his record was 9 wins. In other words, he was the only survivor among the 82 contestants. However, in front of Wang Kai, he didn't even have the slightest strength to fight back. Well, this is good. I like it. Hearing the black-veiled girl's words, Wang Kai nodded with satisfaction. The strength of this strong man was a level 54 Soul King. Killing him could also give a good amount of source experience. While Wang Kai and the girl were talking, the strong man also endured the severe pain of the backlash of his martial soul, struggled to get up from the ground, and then fled into the distance. His eyes were full of horror and fear. Without my permission, who gave you the qualifications and courage to escape? Die for me. With a thought, Wang Kai's body turned into an afterimage again and disappeared from the spot. Only a second later, Wang Kai's body suddenly flashed in front of the strong man who was nearly 50 meters away. Then he waved his right arm, and the 9 Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand danced gently in the air. A cold sword light crossed in mid-air, accompanied by the sound of flesh rubbing and bones breaking. The strong man was beheaded. Under the impact of the boiling hot blood gushing out from his neck, the burly man's head flew high into the air. His face was filled with shock and unwillingness. His body lost control and fell softly to one side. Killed a level 54 Soul King. Gained experience plus 31 sources. Points plus 3,100. Slaughterhouse Mission Special Reward. Gained additional experience plus 279 sources. At this moment, two system prompts sounded in Wong Kai's mind, and then Wong Kai revealed a satisfied smile. At the same time, Wong Kai also found that compared to the level 57 Soul King he killed on the Slaughterhouse night, this level 54 Soul King provided more experience. It seemed that after killing the enemy, the experience gained was not only related to the enemy's cultivation, but also related to the enemy's actual combat strength. The problem is solved, let's go. Striding back to the black-veiled girl, Wong Kai's face was still expressionless, and his tone was indifferent. Okay. Looking at Wong Kai's indifferent look, the black-veiled girl couldn't help but feel a trace of fear in her heart. After killing, he could still maintain such an expression. The performance of this seemingly handsome young man in front of her was not inferior to the few gods of slaughter that had appeared before. A true god of slaughter would never take pleasure in killing, because to them, killing was as common as drinking water and eating. How could such a thing affect their emotions? Those who took pleasure in killing were only slightly stronger than those who dared to kill personally, and were not worthy of attention at all. For Wong Kai, although he had only killed Dagabo before last night, under the influence of Emperor Shura's martial soul, Wong Kai's state of mind had indeed reached a state where killing was neither joyful nor sorrowful. After the girl's response, Wong Kai nodded silently, and then followed her straight to the entrance of the slaughterhouse hell. Next to the entrance of the slaughterhouse hell, there was a huge cup filled with blood. Before entering, Wong Kai poured the cup of Bloody Mary in his hand into it, and then walked into the slaughterhouse hell. When he came to the interior of the slaughterhouse hell, it was indeed abnormally simple and crude, far less luxurious than the great arena of souls in the martial soul holy city. In the center of the slaughterhouse hell, there was an arena made of strange black rocks, with a diameter of hundreds of meters. There were no barriers around the arena, only circles of spectators, stands that extended upward. At this time, there were not many people watching the battle, and the large arena was only about 10% full. In the center of the arena, a slaughterhouse hell was in progress. Screams sounded one after another in the arena. Half of the 10 contestants had died, and the remaining 5 were covered in injuries, fighting for the survival quota. If I want to participate, how should I sign up? Looking at the hot-blooded battle in the arena, Wong Kai's eyes were burning with passion. These people were all living experience. Then, he turned to the black-veiled girl beside him and asked, Chapter 276. Sir, do you want to participate in the battle? Do you see the black stone platform over there? Put your token into the stone platform, and it means that you have chosen to participate in the next Hell Slaughter competition. When the number of qualified participants reaches 10, the battle will officially begin. Hearing Wong Kai's words, the black-veiled girl introduced to Wong Kai while pointing at the front of the arena. Following the direction of the girl's finger, Wong Kai saw a black stone platform engraved with complicated blood-colored inscriptions. Yes, I understand. After listening to the girl's words, Wong Kai nodded, then took a few steps forward to the stone platform and put his token into the groove on the stone platform. Although the Hell Slaughter battle was still ongoing, 3 contestants had already thrown their tokens into the stone platform. Wong Kai was the 4th contestant to participate in the Hell Slaughter battle. Seeing Wong Kai insert his token, many spectators in the arena immediately cast their gazes over. Soon, the battle was over, and there was only one participant left on the Hell Slaughter platform. He was covered in blood, and his footsteps were trembling as he left the arena. However, he did not leave the Hell Slaughter field rashly. Instead, he quietly stayed in the Hell Slaughter field to recuperate. In the Hell Slaughter field, all fighting and killing were prohibited, but outside the Hell Slaughter field, there were no such rules. Therefore, after leaving the Hell Slaughter field, these winners would still be besieged when they were weak. Because of this, after the winners of the Hell Slaughter competition won, they would usually choose to recover their physical strength and injuries in the Hell Slaughter field first, not giving others a chance to take advantage of them. But even so, there were still many participants who won the competition, only to be assassinated and have their tokens taken away. The reason these people were attacked and assassinated was very simple. Killing another resident in the capital of Slaughter and taking their token could rob them of half of their survival time. Wong Kai's luck was not bad. After only an hour, a new group of participants had been gathered in the Hell Slaughter field. After calling Wong Kai's number, Wong Kai also walked to the side of the arena with the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand. At the same time, the other 9 participants entered the arena one by one. There was no limit to the methods used in the battle in the Hell Slaughter field, but there were certain rules for winning between the participants to ensure that the gap in strength between the participants was not too big. Wong Kai's opponents this time were basically participants who had won between 1 and 5 matches, and their strength was around the Soul King level. This was the basic level of survival in the Hell Slaughter competition. After arriving on the arena, Wong Kai observed the 9 soul masters around him. 4 of them were big men with fiendish expressions, and 2 of them were middle-aged men with sinister looks in their eyes. The remaining 9 were a mature woman with revealing clothes, a skinny young man, and an old man with a somewhat aged face. Following the voice of a black-armored referee, Wong Kai's first Hell Slaughter competition began. At almost the same time, the 10 people had already used martial souls to possess their bodies or release their martial souls, and then crazily killed each other. Although the strength of these 9 opponents was not enough to threaten Wong Kai knew that it was better to be safe than sorry. In addition to the fact that poisons and hidden weapons could be used in the Hell Slaughter field, Wong Kai also used Shura's possession to protect himself under the thick layer of Shura's scales. When the battle began, among Wong Kai's 9 opponents, 2 of the big men attacked Wong Kai at almost the same time. One of them held a dark green Fontion halberd, and the other was a werewolf with a martial soul. Before the competition began, the referee introduced the victories of all the participants. After knowing that Wong Kai was a newcomer who had not yet participated in the competition, and seeing Wong Kai's handsome face, they unanimously listed Wong Kai as their #1 target. Good. You're courting death, so don't blame me. Using his appraisal eye, he saw that one of the 2 big men was a rank 52 Soul King, and the other was a rank 51 Soul King. Faced with the experience delivered to his doorstep, the corner of Wong Kai's mouth curled up slightly. After that, he raised his arm and drew his sword. Against 2 people who had just become Soul Kings, Wong Kai didn't even need to use his fatal 7-kill sword. With a casual swing of his sword, he was able to break the halberd in the hands of the Soul Master with the Fontion halberd. After that, he took the opportunity to break the claws of the werewolf Soul Master that were swiping at him. After receiving Wong Kai's attack, the Soul Master with the Fontion halberd felt his sea of consciousness tremble, and he almost fainted. The werewolf Soul Master beside him also had blood spurting out of his arms like fountains, and he screamed in pain. Please die. Looking at the 2 people in front of him, Wong Kai revealed a satisfied smile on his face. After that, he gently swept his sword out again. The beautiful sound of flesh being cut and bones being broken rang out once again. 2 huge human heads flew high into the air. Blood gushed out from the 2 muscular men's broken necks like fountains, and their bodies powerlessly fell to the side. Killed 2 Soul Kings. Experience plus 47. Points plus 4,700. Special reward for the City of Massacre mission. Extra experience plus 423. 2 system notifications rang out in Wong Kai's sea of consciousness. After seeing this bloody and violent scene, the spectators immediately let out enthusiastic and deafening cheers. They were cheering for Wong Kai's heroic performance. At this time, the 7 people fighting in the surroundings were also shocked by Wong Kai's clean and efficient instant kills. However, they were only stunned for a moment before they charged at Wong Kai at almost the same time. As veterans who had experienced the hell of massacre many times, these competitors were very clear that Wang Kai's strength was far above theirs. If they continued to fight among themselves, they would definitely be easily defeated by Wang Kai in the end. Only death would await them. Only by working together to get rid of Wang Kai would they have a chance at survival. You're courting death. Looking at the 7 competitors charging at him, Wang Kai stood with his hands behind his back. A cold light flashed through his eyes. If a soul king like this could threaten him, then he wasn't worthy of being the holy son of the martial soul hall. He crazily poured his soul power into the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword in his hand. In the next moment, the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword expanded with the wind. It turned into a 2-meter-long sword with a width of 50 centimeters. Its weight also increased by a lot. At this time, Wang Kai felt several gusts of wind fly towards him. They were the darts that the elder had thrown at him. These darts were suffused with a dark green light. It was very clear that they were extremely poisonous. Break from me. With a wave of his arms, the enlarged 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword immediately formed a perfect circle in front of Wang Kai. After that, the darts that the elder had thrown at Wang Kai were all blocked and scattered in all directions. Looking at the scattered darts, the faces of the several competitors that had come to surround Wang Kai changed slightly. They then dodged in all directions. Chapter 277. Go to hell. Wang Kai activated his rippling God's Wanderer steps when he saw that the people charging at him had all retreated. His figure flashed in front of the skinny youth who was closest to him. Then he waved his arms and swung the large sword in his hand. The youth's martial soul was a pair of boxing gloves that were covered with spikes. When he saw Wang Kai charging at him, the youth's eyes revealed a look of determination. He poured all of the soul power in his body into the boxing gloves in his hands. Then he fiercely blocked the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword in the air. The youth's efforts were undoubtedly futile. Accompanied by the sound of metal shattering, the boxing gloves in the youth's hands had already been slashed into pieces. Then, the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword took advantage of the momentum to cut the youth's arms in half. Finally, it swept directly onto the youth's chest. Another ear-piercing sound of flesh being torn apart rang out. Faced with the invincible 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword, the youth's body was torn into 2 like thin paper. Then, he fell heavily to the ground. A mixture of blood and internal organs spewed out from the 2 halves of his body. Because of the nourishment of soul power, the life force of Soul Master was much stronger than that of an ordinary person. However, faced with such a serious injury, the youth didn't even last for a few seconds. After violently twitching a few times, the last strand of light of life dissipated from his eyes. Then, his pupils became turbid and unfocused. Killed a rank 52 Soul King. Obtained experience plus 21 sources. Obtained points plus 2,100. Massacre City Mission Special Reward. Obtained additional experience plus 189. 2 more system notifications rang out. At this time, Wang Kai took large strides forward and killed his way in front of a middle-aged Soul Master. Then he suddenly raised his hand and calmly slashed out with his sword. Wang Kai's movements weren't flashy, but they were very clean. Although the middle-aged Soul Master's mind flashed with the thought of dodging, he didn't have time to do anything. He only felt his vision turn black and his consciousness lost control of his body. Then, he quickly fell into eternal darkness. Wang Kai's sword accurately beheaded him. A head filled with disbelief and unwillingness flew into the sky. At the same time, the middle-aged man's corpse lost control and fell to the side. Blood spurted out from his severed neck and dyed the ground red. Following the death of the middle-aged Soul Master, a system notification rang out in Wang Kai's mind. In less than 10 seconds, Wang Kai had already finished off 4 opponents. His movements were as smooth as flowing water, like the most perfect artistic performance, causing the spectators to applaud, their blood to boil, and their cheers to be incessant. Unlike the enthusiastic audience off the stage, the 5 contestants who were still alive on the stage were not in such a good mood. Looking at Wang Kai's figure, the 5 contestants' eyes flashed with fear and regret. Why did they participate in the competition at such an unlucky time to meet such a killing god? However, these 5 contestants weren't ordinary soul masters. They were all contestants who had experienced the Hell Massacre tournament several times. Although they knew that they weren't a match for Wang Kai, they didn't give up. Under the strong desire to live, they forcefully suppressed the fear in their hearts. Once again, they regrouped and attacked Wang Kai. Of the 2 remaining burly men, one of them held a tiger-headed staff and fiercely smashed it towards Wang Kai's head. The other one transformed into a savage cheetah-like creature and waved his sharp claws towards Wang Kai. At the same time, the old man's palm moved slightly again and aimed a poisonous dart at Wang Kai's face. The middle-aged man waved 2 watermelon-sized hammers covered with sharp spikes and crazily smashed them towards Wang Kai. Finally, the mature woman took off her revealing clothes and took out a dagger to kill Wang Kai. A bunch of trash. Faced with the woman's temptation, Wang Kai naturally wasn't affected at all. Although he was attacked by 4 people at once, Wang Kai wasn't afraid in the slightest. He waved his 2-meter-long greatsword and fiercely swept it in front of him. Many of the weapons and the leopard man were sent flying, and all of the hidden weapons were blocked outside of his body. Taking advantage of the time when Wang Kai's sword swept away the attackers, Wang Kai made his move again. In a flash, Wang Kai was already beside the leopard man's soul master. Exerting strength in his arms, the long sword in his hand swept out and directly chopped the leopard man's soul master's waist. Accompanied by the sound of his muscles and spine being torn apart, the leopard man's soul master's body was cut in half by Wang Kai. The 2 halves of his body fell heavily to the ground, and blood continuously flowed out. The lower half of the leopard man's soul master's body twitched a few times before stopping, but the upper half of his body continued to struggle. To a beast soul master with a vigorous life force, this kind of injury would at most cause them to lose their ability to move, but it wouldn't be fatal. If a soul sage healing type soul master were to treat them, they would be able to recover to their original state. However, the leopard man's soul master in front of him didn't have such good luck. Taking a step forward, Wang Kai heavily stomped down on the leopard man's soul master's head. Immediately, the leopard man's soul master's head exploded like a watermelon. Red and white blood splattered everywhere. With his brain crushed, the leopard man's soul master died in an instant. Accompanied by the sound of a notification from Wang Kai's mind, the leopard man's soul master's body stopped trembling. At this time, there were only 4 people left on the stage. Seeing Wang Kai's incomparably savage actions, the other 4 competitors were still frightened to the point of trembling, even though they were notorious villains in the outside world. At this moment, Wang Kai's figure flashed and suddenly appeared in front of the 2 sledgehammer-wielding soul master. Seeing Wang Kai coming for him, the sledgehammer-wielding soul master revealed a trace of panic in his eyes. After seeing the fate of the other competitors, one could imagine how sharp Wang Kai's sword was. If he used his sledgehammer to meet Wang Kai's attack, his martial soul would definitely be shattered. Therefore, he hurriedly dispersed his sledgehammer and dodged to the side. Pretty smart, but it's useless. Wang Kai swung his sword and deflected the poison dart that was flying towards him. At the same time, he sent a heavy kick towards the sledgehammer-wielding soul master's abdomen. Although the sledgehammer-wielding soul master wanted to dodge, under Wang Kai's rapid attacks, the sledgehammer-wielding soul master could only think about dodging. His body was kicked away like a broken sack. The enormous force from Wang Kai's kick passed through the sledgehammer-wielding soul master's abdomen and into the sledgehammer-wielding soul master's body. In an instant, the sledgehammer-wielding soul master's 5 viscera and 6 bowels were crushed into meat paste. The sledgehammer-wielding soul master didn't even have time to scream before his heart was crushed and he died. Chapter 278. You old dog. How dare you use a hidden weapon against me? Die. Wang Kai's eyes flashed with ferocity as he charged towards the venomous Dart Elder. The venomous Dart Elder's face turned pale as he watched Wang Kai charge towards him. His eyes flashed with fear as his body trembled. However, he suppressed the fear in his heart as he frantically shot poisonous darts at Wang Kai. Wang Kai's expression didn't change as he watched the poisonous darts flying towards him. He waved a large sword in his hand and struck them down one by one. His speed didn't seem to decrease at all. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai was already beside the venomous Dart Elder. The blood in his body boiled as he raised the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand and swung it to the side. Rip! In the next moment, the venomous Elder's neck was broken. His wrinkled, ugly, and somewhat sinister head flew high into the air. The fear in his eyes turned into unwillingness and reluctance to leave his life behind. After that, his head fell heavily to the ground. His eyes blinked a few times before they closed weakly. Fresh blood gushed out from his broken throat. It was a refreshing sight. Next, it was the venomous Dart Elder's turn. Compared to the venomous Dart Elder who was almost scared out of his wits, this stick-wielding soul master was still afraid. However, he still mustered his courage and leapt high into the air. He circulated the soul power in his body to the maximum before he raised the tiger-headed stick in his hand and smashed it down again. Even if he died, he would make his opponent pay the price. "You're too weak." Wang Kai smiled faintly as he watched the club-wielding soul master charge at him without any fear of death. Although this club-wielding soul master's courage was commendable, it was a pity that his strength and abilities were simply too weak. Even if he used all of his abilities, he wouldn't be able to cause any harm to Wang Kai. The Nine Heavens soul-eradicating sword slashed forward, and the stick in the hand of the big stick soul master was cut in two by Wang Kai's sword. Then, the Nine Heavens soul-eradicating sword landed heavily on the top of the big stick soul master's head. Faced with the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword, which could break through the defenses of a titled law and 100,000-year soul beast, how could this stick-wielding soul master, who was only a soul king, resist it? Under the blade of the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword, his body was separated along the midline. First, it was his forehead, then his nose, then his upper body, then his abdomen, withdrawing the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword. The next moment, the man's body, which had been cut in half from the middle, collapsed to both sides powerlessly. Blood spurted out, and the cut internal organs fell out of his body. Some of them were even constantly pulsating. At this time, only the mature-looking woman was left on the Hell Slaughterhouse. Seeing Wang Kai walking towards her, the woman's body trembled in fear, and a pale yellow liquid flowed out of her body. "Sir, please spare my life. My body, my everything, is for you to enjoy." While begging for mercy, the woman took off her revealing clothes and completely exposed her body to Wang Kai. "Go! Charge! F***CK her! F***CK her! Hurry up! Hurry up!" Looking at this scene full of benefits, the audience's eyes instantly lit up with excitement, and they shouted together. The woman's eyes also revealed a trace of inadvertent ruthlessness. "Dirty guy, with a fallen woman like you, you dare to charm me?" Looking at the woman's body, Wang Kai's eyes were as calm as an ancient well. How could such a filthy woman, who had been ridden by thousands of men and was as cheap as a rinpoche, arouse Wang Kai's interest even a little bit? Moreover, although this woman's appearance was not ugly, she could only reach the standard of beauty in Wang Kai's eyes. After conquering the 8 peerless beauties, Chihiro Snow, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, Zhu Yiling, Emo Shu, Shui Bing Shui Yu and Yi Lingling, how could such an ordinary woman enter Wang Kai's eyes? However, since you're so cheap, I'll use a special method to send you on your way. Coming to the woman's side, Wang Kai's face revealed a cruel smile, and then he moved like lightning. First, he canceled the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword's enlargement effect. Then he raised the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword and stabbed it fiercely at her back. "Poochie!" Accompanied by an ear-piercing sound, the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword pierced through the woman's body, and finally, the sword tip pierced through her mouth. After being pierced by the sword, the woman breathed her last. Her body trembled a few times without any pattern before completely stopping moving. The viciousness in her eyes had also completely faded away. Only blood flowed out continuously from the hilt of the sword. Killed a level 51 Soul King. Obtained experience plus 17 sources. Obtained points plus 1,700. Massacre City Mission Special Reward. Obtained additional experience plus 153. Following the woman's death, the system's cold voice rang in Wang Kai's ears. Immediately after, a smile appeared on his face, and he used a little strength in his arm to pull the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword out of the woman's corpse in front of him. Suddenly, more blood gushed out, along with bits and pieces of internal organs. At this point, all 9 enemies had been killed, and Wang Kai had obtained his first victory in the Hell's Slaughterhouse. At this moment, the black-armored host walked up and raised Wang Kai's right hand, which still had a trace of blood, to announce his victory. What an exciting battle, Mr. 1145. This is really a feast of slaughter. I believe that your name will resound throughout the Massacre City in the future. Seeing that Wang Kai had returned to her side with the token, the black-veiled girl's eyes flashed with reverence as she congratulated Wang Kai. Thank you for the compliment. It's just that these enemies were too weak. I hope that I can meet more challenging enemies in the future. Hearing the girl's words, Wang Kai smiled faintly and said with satisfaction, after a few minutes of battle, he had already obtained about 2,000 experience points, and this was equivalent to 1 day of cultivation. Of course, as long as my lord's victories continue to increase, the strength of the enemies you encounter will also become stronger. However, I have to remind my lord that because I accompanied you today, the other residents of the Massacre City won't dare to sneak attack you after the battle. But after today, when you are at your weakest state, they can come and attack you. Hearing Wang Kai's words, the girl smiled faintly and reminded him carefully. I understand. I believe that at that time, I will leave a deep impression on those who dare to attack me. Nodding, Wang Kai revealed a confident smile, and then followed the girl to tour the Massacre City. Chapter 279. Oh yes, other than the slaughterhouse, are there any other places in the City of Massacres where I can fight and train my strength? After a simple tour of the inner city, Wang Kai had a basic understanding of the layout of the City of Massacres. At this moment, he continued to ask the young lady, other places where I can fight and train my strength? Yes, there are. If you're willing, you can choose to enter the blood-sobbing forest outside the City of Massacres and fight the blood fiends there. After hearing Wang Kai's question, the young lady frowned and pondered for a moment before answering slowly. Blood-sobbing forest? Blood fiends? What are those things? Can you explain them to me in detail? After hearing the young lady's words, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with joy. He didn't have many victories now, so he didn't have to queue for too long for each battle. However, as he won more and more battles in the future, the waiting time for each battle would be very long. Time was money, and he didn't want to waste it waiting for a battle. Hence, he needed to fight to train himself. Of course, the blood-sobbing forest is a forest formed by a special kind of plant that grows outside the City of Massacres. These plants mutated by absorbing the murderous aura and blood energy that overflows from the City of Massacres. Blood fiends are similar to soul beasts, but they're also born from the law of massacres. They can't control soul power and can only control blood, energy, and murderous aura. Furthermore, they don't drop soul rings. After hearing Wang Kai's question, the young lady was very enthusiastic to answer Wang Kai's question. That's right. How strong are these blood fiends? After hearing this, Wang Kai nodded slightly before continuing to ask the young lady. Yes, we usually divide blood fiends into 5 levels: infant, adult, mature, complete, and ultimate. Infant blood fiends are comparable to soul ancestors. Adult blood fiends are comparable to soul kings. Mature blood fiends are comparable to soul emperors. Complete blood fiends are comparable to soul sages, and ultimate blood fiends are comparable to soul doloa. They're also known as the kings of blood fiends. After hearing Wang Kai's question, the young lady carefully explained to Wang Kai again. So weak. After hearing the young lady's words, Wang Kai revealed a look of astonishment. Sir, you're mistaken. The fighting strength of these soul beasts is measured by the standard of a flourishing soul master who can use soul skills, and not the soul masters in the capital of Massacre who are restricted from using soul skills. If a title Doloa can't use soul skills, they might not even be able to defeat a soul Doloa who is 10 ranks lower than them. To the soul masters in the city of Massacres, these blood beasts are already very strong. Hearing this, the young lady understood Wang Kai's meaning and quickly explained. I see. These blood fiends are indeed very strong. However, can we freely leave Massacre City to hunt for blood fiends? After hearing this, Wang Kai didn't reveal any fear in his eyes. After leaving the city of Massacres, he could use his soul skills and other martial souls without any worries. His fighting strength was comparable to that of a high-level soul sage, and coupled with his powerful self-healing abilities, he could easily escape from a soul Doloa. Furthermore, these blood fiends were only comparable to soul Doloa in strength, but their intelligence was definitely not as high as a human soul Doloa. He wouldn't be in any danger if he faced these blood fiends. Of course you can. You can leave the city of Massacres through the west gate and enter the blood-sobbing forest to hunt blood fiends. Not only that, but soul cultivators can obtain blood crystals from the bodies of the blood fiends after killing them. Naturally occurring blood crystals can be found in the blood-weeping forest, and soul cultivators who hand over their blood crystals will be able to continue living in the massacring city. Blood crystals are divided into 5 grades: substandard, low grade, middle grade, high grade, and supreme grade. Normally, a newborn blood fiend will drop a substandard blood crystal, and so on and so forth. Every time you hand over a substandard blood crystal, you can extend your stay by half a day. Low-grade blood crystals are 3 days, middle-grade blood crystals are 1 month, and high-grade blood crystals are 1 year. As for supreme-grade blood crystals, you can obtain 30 years of residency, and can even join the City of Massacre's enforcement team. At this point, the young lady explained to Wang Kai about blood fiends and blood crystals. I understand now. If I want to hunt blood fiends, is there anything I need prepare? Wang Kai nodded before asking again. Yes, if you want to hunt blood fiends, you can first obtain a map of the blood-sobbing forest from the enforcement team. Furthermore, it's best that you prepare sufficient food. This is because once blood fiends are killed, their bodies will turn into blood energy, and only blood crystals will be left. They can't be eaten. Lastly, blood fiends often travel in groups. After thinking for a moment, the young lady continued. Thank you very much. I feel that I already have a very clear understanding of the City of Massacres. Thank you again for your insight and companionship. With a bright smile on his face, Wang Kai turned his head and thanked the young lady. This is what I should do. Sir, I hope you have a good time in the City of Massacres. If I leave, your newbie protection period will end. By then, other residents can attack you as they wish. Please be careful. After speaking, the young lady's body turned into a shadow and disappeared. Very good. Now it's time to seize a residence. Seeing that the young lady had left, Wang Kai stopped smiling and looked at the dozens of palaces in the center of the City of Massacres. In the City of Massacres, residences were divided into 3 grades: palaces, villas, and bungalows. The higher the grade of the house, the closer it was to the center of the City of Massacres. It was more luxurious, and the daily ration of food was more abundant. As for the allocation of residences in the City of Massacres, it was completely based on the law of violence. The house belonged to whoever had the bigger fist. After the young lady in black veil beside Wang Kai left, a few unfriendly gazes appeared around Wang Kai. Look, another newcomer is here. Yeah, it's actually a gigolo. I like it. I like it too. I want his arm. A clamorous discussion rang out. Immediately, 4 ferocious-looking muscular men rushed out, their mouths filled with obscenities. Some of them were even discussing how to torture Wang Kai to death and how to distribute his body. A bunch of ants. How dare you offend me? All of you must die. Using the detection eye to scan the burly men rushing towards him, Wang Kai immediately discovered that they were 3 soul kings and 1 soul emperor. Then, a contemptuous smile appeared on his face. Ha ha, that gigolo's tone is actually so arrogant. He really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He actually dares to call me grandfather. When I catch you, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. Take this. Hearing Wang Kai's words, the 4 burly men's faces flashed with rage. Their eyes flickered with anger. Then, they activated their soul power and released their martial souls. Chapter 280. His soul force surged, and in the next moment, a sinister-looking scimitar with a skull appeared in his right hand. The scimitar was around 2 meters long, and it radiated a sinister aura that would cause a normal person to tremble in fear. Behind him, the 3 soul kings either released their martial souls or used their martial souls to possess their bodies. Immediately, one of the 3 soul masters transformed into a bull with 2 curved yellow horns on his head. Another transformed into a vulture with a sharp beak and a pair of black wings on his back. The last soul master had a silver 3-tipped dagger in his hand, making him appear incomparably awe-inspiring. Make me wish I was dead? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. You're the ones who deserve to die. Facing this group of enemies who dared to attack him, Wang Kai naturally showed no mercy. He stimulated his body's potential and completed the process of the Azura sovereign possessing his body. At the same time, he madly circulated his soul power and poured it into the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword. In the next moment, the 1-meter-long sword expanded into a 2-meter-long broadsword. Then, it flew towards the 4 provocateurs. What's so great about a big blade? Take my blade. The scimitar's soul emperor was the first to make his move. He raised his scimitar high into the air and slashed it towards Wang Kai's head. On the other side, the 3 soul kings didn't show any signs of weakness. The barbarian bull soul master charged forward, his sharp horns aimed at Wang Kai's chest. The vulture soul master flew high into the air and charged towards Wang Kai's face, his sharp claws tearing at Wang Kai. The last soul master with the 3-pointed dagger swung his weapon towards Wang Kai's lower body. Come, break for me. There was no fear in Wang Kai's eyes as he looked at the 4 soul masters coming at him. He swung the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword and sent the scimitar flying away. Compared to the soul kings, the scimitar soul emperor's martial soul was much stronger. It didn't break even when the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword hit it. But even so, cracks began to appear on the scimitar. The part where the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword collided with the scimitar had a large chunk of it. The soul master with the scimitar felt his soul force grow sluggish after his martial soul was struck. His mind trembled slightly, but he was still able to stabilize himself and use his soul force to restore the scimitar in his hand. Compared to the scimitar soul emperor, the barbaric bull soul king and the vulture soul king weren't as lucky. Although the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword's power was mostly absorbed by the scimitar soul emperor, Wang Kai's attack was still enough to injure them. The 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword sliced through the barbaric bull soul emperor's horns, causing him to howl in pain. The vulture soul emperor was in an even worse state. His left claw had been cut off, and his right hand had been severed along the wrist, causing blood to spurt out from the wound. At the same time, Wang Kai's lower body wasn't idle either. Faced with the trident dagger battle axe, Wang Kai used the Azura scales on his body to easily block the attack. Not even a faint white mark was left on the trident dagger battle axe. On the other hand, the trident dagger battle axe was pushed back several steps by the force of the collision. Only after a few steps did the trident dagger battle axe regain its balance. This guy isn't easy to deal with. Run. The 4 soul emperors knew that the situation wasn't looking good. They quickly scattered in different directions. Although Wang Kai's face looked clean and harmless, There was a frightening amount of strength hidden beneath that handsome exterior. They'd kicked an iron plate this time. Oomph. Did I say you could run? Be obedient and stay here for me. A cold light flashed in Wang Kai's eyes. With a thought, he turned into an afterimage and disappeared from where he stood. Wang Kai appeared behind the Soul Emperor with the scimitar Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing sword in his hand. Impossible. The Soul Emperor with the scimitar Soul Emperor didn't expect Wang Kai to be so fast. He didn't even have time to react before he felt a sharp pain in his back. It felt like his body wasn't his anymore, and then a bloody sword pierced through his body. Despair flashed in his eyes as the Soul Emperor with the scimitar Soul Emperor felt his blood boil. There were even pieces of his internal organs mixed in with the blood that leaked out from the corner of his mouth. However, he could no longer scream. The blood that was gushing up had blocked his neck and vocal tract. His consciousness was gradually blurring, and he had completely lost control of his body due to the damage to his spine. Go to hell. Tang Wulin pulled the Nine Heavens Soul-Extinguishing sword out of the scimitar Soul Master's chest. Chunks of his innards flew out of the scimitar Soul Master's body, and blood spurted out like a fountain from the wounds on his back. You have killed a rank 62 Soul Emperor. Obtain plus 280 origin points, plus 2 origin points, plus 8,000 origin points. Capital of Slaughter Mission Special Reward. Obtain plus 2,520 origin points. The moment the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing sword was pulled out, the Soul Emperor with the scimitar Soul Emperor died. 2 system notifications rang out in Wang Kai's ears. Hearing the experience he gained, Wang Kai couldn't help but smile. Amazing. An early-stage Soul Emperor can give me so much experience. If I can kill another 30 or 40 Soul Emperors, I'll become a rank 64 Soul Emperor. Wang Kai's eyes burned with passion as he turned to look at the other 3 Soul Kings that were fleeing in all directions. At this time, the 3 Soul Kings that provoked Wang Kai didn't have enough time to escape. The fastest one, the Vulture Soul Emperor, was only 30 meters away. Their speed was much slower than Wang Kai's, and to Wang Kai, it was like a game of cat and mouse. Where are you 3 old dogs running to? Kill them. Wang Kai's disdainful and arrogant voice rang out. His body transformed into a black arrow as he shot towards the broken-handed Vulture Soul Cultivator. Too scary. Ruthless. Ruthless. Xiao Zhan and the others really ran into a wall this time. How pitiful. Seeing the Soul Emperor with the scimitar Soul Emperor being killed, the surrounding residents of the capital of Slaughter began to talk. When they saw Wang Kai running towards them, they all activated their soul force and shot out. They were afraid of angering the great demon king Wang Kai, or attracting his attention and inviting death. Chapter 281. Nine Heavens Soul Annihilator Die. In the next moment, Wang Kai's figure appeared behind the bald Soul Cultivator. Brandishing the Nine Heavens Soul Annihilator, he slashed out a beautiful and cold blade of light. Poochie. There was a dull thud as the bald Soul Cultivator's head flew into the air before crashing to the ground. Crimson blood spurted out from the wound on his neck like a fountain, and the surrounding flesh and blood could be clearly seen wriggling about. Killed a rank 55 Soul Emperor. Origin experience gained plus 33. Points gained plus 3,300. Reward for the City of Slaughter mission. Gained 297 origin points. That's awesome. Now it's your turn. After killing the bald Soul Cultivator, Wang Kai turned around and shot towards the 3-pointed dagger Soul Cultivator like a black arrow. Senior, please spare us. Senior, please spare us. We had eyes but failed to see. We didn't know that Senior's strength was so strong, so we offended Senior. Moreover, this was all the idea of our captain, Xiao Zhan. It had nothing to do with me. Now that you've killed Xiao Zhan, that ignorant dog, please spare my dog life. The 3-pronged dagger Soul Master's face paled at the sight of Wang Kai's death. His lips trembled uncontrollably, and his body trembled uncontrollably before he collapsed to the ground and begged for mercy. You brought this upon yourselves. Since you dare to provoke me, you should have been prepared to be killed. Wang Kai raised the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword high in the air and aimed it at the soul cultivator's neck. Then, with the force of Mount Tai, he slashed down. The nine heavens soul-eradicating sword slashed down with peerless might, sending shockwaves in all directions. In the next second, the three-pronged dagger Soul Master's head fell to the ground with a look of terror on his face. Blood spurted out from his neck, and his kneeling body slowly fell to the ground. At the same time, the system notification rang out in Wang Kai's ears. Last one. Only the Bull Soul Cultivator was left. Of the four Soul Cultivators who provoked Wang Kai, the Bull Soul Cultivator was the slowest. Even though Wang Kai had already killed his three companions, the Bull Soul Cultivator had only managed to run 100 meters away. This was why Wang Kai had to deal with him. Wang Kai's body flashed as he moved 10 times faster than the Bull Soul Cultivator. In a second, Wang Kai was already in front of the Bull Soul Cultivator. Senior, please don't kill me. I Wu Hui, have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended you. I am willing to serve you as your slave. Please spare my life. After seeing Wang Kai's strength, the Bull Soul Cultivator named Wu Hui was trembling. Wu Hui's Mount Tai. He was still able to suppress the fear in his heart as he knelt down as he begged. You want to serve me? That's fine. I just came to the city of Massacre, and I have a few questions to ask. Then, are you familiar with the distribution of forces in Massacre City? Wang Kai asked coldly as he lowered his head to look at the Bull Soul Cultivator kneeling in front of him. I know. Senior, you have asked the right person. Although I'm not very strong, I am very clear about the distribution of power in the city. After hearing Wang Kai's question, the Bull Soul Cultivator's eyes flashed with a glimmer of hope as he hurriedly answered. Very good. I'll spare your life for now. Now, stand up and tell me everything you know about the Soul Cultivators living in the palace. Wang Kai nodded as he looked at the Bull Soul Cultivator. Thank you, Senior, for sparing my life. I will explain it to you now. The Bull Soul Cultivator's eyes flashed with ecstasy from escaping death. He hurriedly stood up and removed his martial soul from his body as he spoke. Yes, speak. Wang Kai nodded and gestured for the Bull Soul Cultivator to continue. The one who lives in Palace Number 1 is the most powerful person in the city of Massacre, the terrifying existence who has won 67 battles. His name is Quan Long, and he is a rank 87 soul de law. His martial soul is the 8-treasure Golden Dragon Spear. His spear techniques are exquisite, and he kills people like flies. His strength is boundless. The one living in the second palace is the second strongest person in the city. He is also the second strongest person in the Hellbound Slaughterhouse. He has won 54 matches. He is Du Tao, and he is a rank 85 soul de law. His martial soul is the Green Void Windbreaker Eagle. His claws are extremely sharp, and his speed is astonishing. He is very difficult to stop. The one living in the third palace is not the third strongest person in the Hellbound Slaughterhouse. He is only the 5th strongest person in the Hellbound Slaughterhouse. However, his strength is more terrifying than the 3rd and 4th strongest person. That is why he is able to live in the third palace. His name is Kai Kuan, and he is a rank 82 soul de law. His martial soul is the purple gold long chain centipede. He once killed 100 people who tried to kill him. He is famous for his killing. The one living in the 12th palace is the 14th strongest person in the Hellbound Slaughterhouse. His name is Zhang Hui, and his martial soul is the chaotic heaven-bearing trident. He is a rank 77 soul sage, and he is also a veteran in the city. He is very strong, and he loves to kill. Wherever he goes, rivers of blood will flow. Under Wang Kai's watchful eyes, the barbarian Bull Soul Master told him about the strength and martial souls of the 12 powerhouses in the massacring city. Yes, very good. Then you can go to hell now. A cold light flashed in Wang Kai's eyes. After that, he raised the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand again. Sir, didn't you say that you wouldn't kill me? looking at the blood-stained, nine heavens, soul-extinguishing sword in Wang Kai's hand. The barbaric bull soul master's eyes flashed with fear as he stuttered. I said that I would let you live temporarily. Besides, even if I don't kill you, the sword in my hand will. With a sinister smile, Wang Kai aimed his sword at the barbaric bull soul master's chest and swept it fiercely. Facing the barbaric bull soul master who had not activated his martial soul, the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword didn't stop at all. It cut him in half like cutting paper. After that, the barbaric bull soul master's upper body and lower body were separated. Almost at the same time, they fell to the ground. You lied to me. His mouth spat out a few words, and the barbaric bull soul master was already dead. Only his broken body marked that he had once been to the mystical world of the Dolua continent. Now it's time to seize a palace. After dealing with the four soul cultivators who had provoked him, Wang Kai began to walk towards the palace at the center of the capital of massacres. Chapter 282. As he thought about it, Wang Kai walked quickly through the inner city of the capital of massacres. Very quickly, he arrived in front of the 12th palace beside the slaughterhouse. After some consideration, Wang Kai believed that he wasn't strong enough right now. However, he didn't want to expose the fact that he could use soul skills. It was also because of this that he didn't want to clash or fight with the Soul Doloa for the time being. Therefore, he naturally chose to attack the weakest soul sage among the 12 palaces, Zhang Hui. Zhang Hui, you old dog, hurry up and get out here. This young master wants your palace. Arriving in front of the 12th palace, Wang Kai activated his soul power and shouted into the palace. Heavens, there's actually someone who wants to provoke Zhang Hui. Newborn calves aren't afraid of tigers. This kid is really not afraid of death. Sigh, I don't think Zhang Hui needs to do anything. His subordinates are enough to deal with this kid who doesn't know his place. After hearing Wang Kai shout, the surrounding soul masters all looked at Wang Kai outside the 12th palace. They all wanted to see how this arrogant young man would die. Just as everyone was watching, the door to the 12th palace slowly opened. After that, 6 burly soul masters walked out. How dare you? Who are you? How dare you challenge Lord Zhang Hui's authority? At this moment, the leader of the 6 soul masters, a muscular man, took a step forward and stomped his foot. After that, he shouted loudly. To the soul masters who lived in the palaces, they were very strong. Therefore, many other soul masters would follow them and become their servants. They would be protected by them. This way, their chances of survival in the capital of massacres were much higher. Right now, the ones who came out of the 12th palace were Zhang Hui's servants. A few dogs dare to be impudent in front of me? Hurry up and go back. Call your master out and tell him that I want this 12th palace. When Wang Kai used his appraisal eye, he could see that all 6 of Zhang Hui's servants were soul emperors. But soul emperors weren't anything special in Wang Kai's eyes, so he sneered at them with disdain. He actually dares to insult us and Lord Zhang Hui. What an ignorant brat. Brothers, attack. The 6 soul emperors were furious at Wang Kai's words. The leader of the 6 soul emperors barked out a command before the 6 soul emperors began to circulate their soul force. In the next moment, the 6 soul cultivators either completed the possession of their martial souls or took out their martial souls. A 2-meter-long, thick, and shiny silver mace appeared in the hands of the leader of the soul cultivators. The spikes on top of the mace sparkled with silver light, making it appear extremely fierce and powerful. Beside him, the soul cultivator on the left had already transformed into a long-armed ape. His entire body was covered in hair and his muscles were bulging. He looked extremely strong. The soul cultivator on the right had taken out a Bodhidharma whip. The whip was 5 meters long and shone with a metallic luster. The 3 soul cultivators behind him had also made their preparations. The soul cultivator in the middle transformed into a coiling dragon ant. Its mouth protruded from its mouth and was incomparably sharp. Its body was covered in a layer of fiery red armor that appeared to be incomparably sturdy. On either side of him, one of the soul cultivators had a dragon scale blade in his hands. It shone with a golden light and looked extremely majestic. The other soul cultivator had transformed into a 9-star violet lightning rhinoceros. His entire body was covered in a layer of hard skin, and his nostrils were extremely thick. Purple lightning flashed around his nostrils. Good timing. All of you can die for me. Seeing the 6 soul emperors coming at him, Wang Kai didn't panic. He wielded the 9 heavens soul eradicating sword and activated his soul force at the same time. Emperor Shura's possession. 9 heavens soul eradicating sword grow. In the next moment, Shura's scales began to grow around Wang Kai's body. Shura's horns began to protrude from his head, and a faint layer of Shura's fire began to burn around his body. The 9 heavens soul eradicating sword was unsheathed in the wind. By now, the 6 soul emperors were already past him. The one with the silver wolf tooth club raised his club high up in the air and swung it at Wang Kai's face. The one with the dragon scale blade leapt into the air and swung his blade at Wang Kai's face. The other soul cultivator with the Dharma whip swung his whip at Wang Kai's thigh. At the same time, the 3 soul cultivators with beast souls weren't idle. The one with the long arm of the ape soul cultivator swung his large fists at Wang Kai's back. The 9-star violet lightning rhino soul cultivator sped up to stab at Wang Kai's abdomen with his sharp horns. The last soul cultivator with the coiling dragon, noisy ant soul cultivator moved to Wang Kai's side to bite down on Wang Kai's body. Wang Kai wasn't afraid of the 6 soul cultivators that were charging at him. While these soul cultivators weren't weak, they didn't have the ability to fight someone stronger than them. Furthermore, they didn't dare to expose their backs to Wang Kai, so their teamwork wasn't very good. They weren't a threat to Wang Kai at all, and it was only a matter of time before he could take care of them. Break for me. Gripping the hilt of the 9 heavens soul-vanquishing sword, Wang Kai began to circulate his soul force and blood into it. Immediately, the 9 heavens soul-vanquishing sword began to revolve around Wang Kai's body, leaving a trail of blood behind it. Bang, 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 bang. Sparks flew everywhere as Wang Kai's sword slashed at the 5 soul cultivators that were attacking him. The one with the Dharma whip swung his whip at Wang Kai's thigh, but Wang Kai didn't feel the slightest bit of pain. Instead, the soul cultivator felt his arm go numb. So strong. After being sent flying by Wang Kai's sword, the soul cultivator with the silver wolf fang club felt a strong force pass through his body. His arm felt sore and swollen, and his internal organs were also impacted. He felt a sense of suffocation, and his blood flow became sluggish. The spikes on his silver wolf fang club were directly cut off when it collided with the 9 heavens soul-vanquishing sword. Compared to the soul cultivator with the silver wolf fang club, the soul cultivator with the dragon scale blade was much weaker. He was also sent flying further away. Many cracks appeared on the dragon scale blade in his hand, and there was even a crack that was about 2 centimeters wide at the point of impact. His martial soul was injured, and his body suffered a huge impact. The soul cultivator only felt his lungs churn, and his sea of consciousness hurt. There was a faint sweetness in his throat, and it was difficult for him to condense his blood flow. The arm that held the dragon scale blade was also trembling slightly. Chapter 283. Unlike the 3 soul masters with tool martial souls, the 3 soul masters with beast martial souls used their bodies to resist the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword. Without a doubt, their injuries were much more severe. With just one slash, the arms of the long-haired, all-armed ape soul master were chopped off by Wang Kai, causing blood to gush out like a fountain. The 9-star purple lightning rhino soul master was slashed in the head by Wang Kai, causing blood to flow out his face. He fell to the side, motionless, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. As for the last soul master, the coiling dragon noisy heaven ant soul master, his mouth was cut open, and his mouth was badly mutilated. So powerful, he actually repelled 6 soul emperors under Zhang Hui by himself. He really is a hero from a young age. Perhaps he came prepared. Seeing Wang Kai display his invincible might, the surrounding audience's eyes were filled with astonishment. No one had expected that the seemingly young Wang Kai would be able to defeat 6 Soul Emperors under Zhang Hui with just one move. After repelling the 6 Soul Masters, Wang Kai didn't let them recover. With a thought, Wang Kai's figure disappeared from where he stood. Then, he suddenly appeared beside the unconscious 9-star purple lightning Rhino Soul Master. Aiming at his thick neck, he raised his sword and fiercely chopped down. In the next second, the 9-star purple lightning Rhino Soul Master's head was immediately severed from his neck. It heavily fell to the ground, causing blood to splatter everywhere. At the same time, Wang Kai's ears rang with the pleasant sound of the system's notification. This time, another 3,000 origin experience points had entered his account. Damn it. Brothers, you guys go first. Don't let him escape. I'm going to find Lord Zhang Hui for help now. Seeing the 9-star purple lightning Rhino Soul Master being beheaded, the Silver Wolf Fong Soul Master's eyes revealed an extremely terrified expression. In the next moment, he abandoned his team members and madly rushed towards the 12th palace. You should have asked your master to come out and see me. It's already too late to find your master now. With a cold glint in his eyes, Wang Kai's figure flickered. In less than a second, Wang Kai appeared in front of the Silver Wolf Fong Soul Master, isolating him from the palace's entrance. How is this possible? Seeing Wang Kai suddenly appear in front of him, the Silver Wolf Fong Soul Master's eyes flashed with disbelief. He exclaimed in his heart. However, this exclamation would forever remain in his heart, because Wang Kai's sword was already slashing towards his chest. He hadn't even had the time to recover from the shock of Wang Kai's sudden appearance. So how could he possibly have the time to react? Wang Kai's 9 Heavens soul-extinguishing sword pierced through the sky and slashed heavily between his ribs. Then it went all the way to his heart, cutting his body into 2 halves. Plop! The Silver Wolf Fong Soul Master's upper body fell heavily to the ground. His 2 arms trembled a few times before he stopped moving. He couldn't be more dead. At the same time, his lower body softly flipped to the side and fell to the ground. Killed a rank 64 Soul Emperor. Obtained plus 340 origin points, plus 3 origin experience, plus 4,000 origin points. Capital of Slaughter Mission Special Reward. Obtained plus 3,060 origin points. 2 system notifications rang out in his mind. Wang Kai's mouth immediately revealed a satisfied smile. His eyes flashed with a scorching light, and then he crazily attacked the Silver Wolf Soul Master. Sir, please don't kill me. I'm willing to be Sir's slave and serve Sir with all my might. Seeing Wang Kai coming towards him, the Silver Wolf Soul Master was almost scared out of his wits. He hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed repeatedly in an attempt to save his life. How can I accept the loyalty of a traitorous dog like you? Go and die obediently. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai had already arrived in front of the Silver Wolf Soul Master. He coldly shouted and then waved the 9 Heavens soul-extinguishing sword at his neck. Poochie! With a muffled sound, the head of the Soul Master who was sweeping the Dharma whip fell to the ground. The system notification rang out in Wang Kai's mind like the most beautiful symphony. Wang Kai took advantage of the situation and charged towards the remaining Soul Master with the Dragon Scale Blade. Seeing the fate of the Silver Wolf Soul Master who surrendered to Wang Kai, the Dragon Scale Blade Soul Master also knew that surrendering was useless. His eyes flashed with a trace of determination. Immediately, he crazily urged the soul power in his body to pour into his arms and the Dragon Scale Blade. His arms fiercely exerted strength and slashed towards Wang Kai's face. Your courage is commendable, but unfortunately, you're too weak. Looking at the Dragon Scale Blade Soul Master who was charging towards him, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with a hint of praise. Then, he exerted strength in his arms and waved his sword to meet the attack. 6 Soul Emperors besieging Wang Kai alone were swept away by Wang Kai's sword, let alone this Dragon Scale Blade Soul Master who had suffered internal injuries. The sword light flashed, and the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword fiercely slashed on the dragon scale blade. In almost an instant, the dragon scale blade soul master's martial soul was cut into two, but before he could feel the pain of his martial soul being broken, his consciousness had already fallen into eternal darkness. The head of the dragon scale blade soul master, which was full of fierce-looking flesh, was spurted high into the air by the cut in his throat. The headless body fell weakly, twitching irregularly a few times, and then completely stopped moving. The system notification sounded again, and another few thousand experience points were added. Wang Kai had already left the corpse of the dragon scale blade soul master, and his body was like a black arrow, rushing towards the remaining two soul masters. In a few flashes, Wang Kai arrived beside the coiling dragon troublesome ant soul master and aimed his sword at his back. Looking at Wang Kai's figure that was like a death god, the coiling dragon troublesome ant soul master's face revealed a look of despair. He urged his soul power to launch the last attack of his life at Wang Kai. Without a doubt, his efforts were in vain. Before he could get close to Wang Kai, the nine heavens soul extinguishing sword had already pierced through the shell on his back and then pierced into his body. With a fierce twist, the internal organs of the coiling dragon troublesome ant soul master turned into a pile of meat paste mixed with blood, flowing out of his body in 7 orifices, and his consciousness suddenly fell into eternal sleep. Last one. At this time, Wang Kai's gaze locked onto the last long-armed ape soul master. Feeling Wang Kai's murderous gaze, the long-armed ape soul master's body trembled, and cold sweat broke out on his back. His body was almost unable to move, and he could only watch as Wang Kai pounced towards him. "Hey, which thief dares to be impudent in front of my Zhonghui residence, and even dare to kill my servant?" At this time, a loud and clear voice came from the 12th palace, and then a middle-aged man walked out from the palace's entrance. Chapter 284. "Master, it's him, it's him." The long-armed ape soul master's eyes shone with hope as he watched the man walk out of the 12th palace. It was as if he'd met his savior. Raising his still bleeding arm, he pointed it at Wang Kai. Wang Kai turned his attention to the figure that had walked out of the palace. It was a middle-aged man dressed in yellow robes. His body was sturdy, and his face was grave and stern. His gaze was as cold as the 9 hells, and it was enough to make one's scalp go numb. "You piece of trash. You couldn't even complete the mission I gave you. So you could die now." Zhang Hui's expression darkened at the sight of the pitiful state of the long-haired ape soul master. Then, he began to stride towards the soul master with large strides. In a few strides, Zhang Hui was already by the side of the long-haired ape soul master. Giving him a cold glare, Zhang Hui punched out with all his might. The sound of a sonic boom could be heard in the air, a testament to the strength of Zhang Hui's punch. "No, master, spare." Before he could finish his sentence, Zhang Hui's fist had already struck the long-armed ape soul master's temple. With a muffled bang, the long-armed ape soul master's head exploded like a watermelon. Red and white matter splattered all over the ground as the long-armed ape soul master's body fell limply to the side. Useless things. A bunch of unreliable trash. Shaking off the bloodstains on his hand, Zhang Hui examined the corpses of the other 5 servants. He cursed angrily, but his eyes were filled with a hint of seriousness. It was obvious that the person who came to provoke him had some strength to be able to kill his servants so easily. Regarding this, Zhang Hui's heart faintly raised a bit of vigilance. "Who are you? How dare you provoke me?" Zhang Hui. Turning around again, Zhang Hui stared at Wang Kai with his ice-cold eyes and asked in a stern voice, "This young master Wang Kai is new to the capital of slaughter. I've heard that the palaces here are pretty good, so I want to get a palace to live in. I heard that your strength is the weakest amongst the possessors of the palaces. So, hand it over obediently, and I can let you leave with your life. Otherwise, only death will await you if I attack." Looking at Zhang Hui, Wang Kai said coldly as he swung the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in front of him. Arrogant brat, how dare you steal from me, Zhang Hui? Today, I'll capture you alive and let you experience 81 types of torture. I'll make you regret being born. Hearing Wang Kai's words, Zhang Hui was furious. His body trembled from anger, and then he madly circulated his soul force. Primordial heavenly trident. With a low roar, the soul force in Zhang Hui's hand jumped. In the next moment, a 2-meter-long golden primordial heavenly trident with dazzling runes engraved on it appeared in Zhang Hui's hand. It was very majestic, and Zhang Hui's aura rose with the appearance of the primordial heavenly trident. You talk too much. Since you didn't cherish the chance I gave you, then let's see who's the real deal. When the time comes, don't beg me for mercy. Looking at Zhang Hui, Wang Kai shook his head. Then he crazily circulated his soul force. His hands gripped the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword tightly, and then he stomped his feet on the ground. Bang! Following the sound of an energy explosion, where Wang Kai's feet left the ground, a crater suddenly appeared on the hard stone surface. His body turned into a black line and violently rushed towards Zhang Hui in the distance. This speed caused the surrounding crowd to erupt into a few cries of surprise. Good timing. Looking at Wang Kai's fast speed, Zhang Hui's face became slightly gloomy. Then he sneered and waved the primordial heavenly trident in his hand and appeared in a flash. In almost an instant, Wang Kai and Zhang Hui had already rushed to each other's side. Wang Kai fiercely swung his arm. The Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand aimed at Zhang Hui's head and ruthlessly chopped down. A fierce gust of wind suddenly rushed out in front of Wang Kai, and there was an ear-piercing collision sound. Go to hell. Facing Wang Kai's attack, Zhang Hui didn't retreat. He was good at this kind of head-on battle. Therefore, he took a step forward, and purple soul force condensed on the primordial heavenly trident in his hand. The vigorous energy released a faint ripple, making the primordial heavenly trident seem even more powerful. Then Zhang Hui swung his arms, and the sharp primordial heavenly trident pierced forward. Carrying a vigorous force, it fiercely met the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword that brought about a pitch-black shadow. Clang! The crisp sound of metal colliding came from the place where the two people clashed. Following the sound waves, a circle of extremely explosive energy burst out from the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword and the primordial heavenly trident. At the same time, the ground under Wang Kai and Zhang Hui's feet quietly shook, and small cracks appeared. Tightly gripping the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword, Wang Kai retreated half a step in the fierce clash. On the other hand, Zhang Hui was forced to retreat several steps before he managed to stabilize his body with great difficulty. I'm not seeing things, right? This kid is actually stronger than Zhang Hui. How terrifying. Looks like there's going to be another fierce god in the city of massacre. That's not necessarily true. They only exchanged one move. Who won and who lost can't be determined yet. As they watched the clash between Wang Kai and Zhang Hui, the surrounding soul cultivators began to discuss amongst themselves. Their gazes towards Wang Kai were filled with reverence. How is this possible? You're actually so strong. Looking at Wang Kai, Zhang Hui's eyes flashed with disbelief as he exclaimed, "There's no why. If there's a reason, then it's because you're too weak." As he shouted coldly, Wang Kai picked up the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand again. He took a step forward, and his body shot out like a sharp arrow. The huge Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand suddenly slashed down, bringing along waves of extremely oppressive wind. Seeing Wang Kai coming for him, Zhang Hui's eyes flashed with a fierce light. He crazily urged his soul power and waved the primordial heavenly trident in his hand so tightly that it was impenetrable. It fiercely collided with Wang Kai's Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword. Clang, clang, clang. Following the dazzling battle between Wang Kai and Zhang Hui, the crisp sound of metal clashing could be heard. It circled above the empty space in front of the palace and didn't dissipate for a long time. Chapter 285. Sword and trident collided, silhouettes flickered, and in the blink of an eye, Wang Kai and Zhang Hui had fought for more than 40 rounds. In the beginning, although Zhang Hui's strength was slightly lower than Wang Kai's, it wasn't too far off. He fought back and forth with Wang Kai. However, as time passed, Zhang Hui began to feel a little tired. He also realized that the power coming from the primordial heaven supporting trident was getting stronger and stronger. Every time he struck, the sword moves became fiercer and fiercer. Gradually, Zhang Hui's palms were soaked with sweat, and his trident technique became a little messy. On the other hand, Wang Kai had been taught a lot about swordsmanship and the fatal 7-kill sword by Xiao Guang, but Wang Kai had always used a spear. This was his first time using a sword, so he was a little uncomfortable. However, Wang Kai was a genius. As he fought with Zhang Hui, he gradually gained a deeper understanding of swordsmanship, and his strength gradually increased. Little friend Wang Kai, you're strong. I'll let you have this palace. Goodbye. Zhang Hui knew that he wasn't a match for this young man in front of him. If he continued to fight like this, he would be defeated in the end. Thus, Zhang Hui took advantage of an opening and jumped out of the circle. He put away the primordial heaven-bearing trident and frantically used his soul force to escape into the distance. Did I say you could leave? I already said that if you don't obediently hand over the palace, only death awaits you. It's too late to run now. Killing a soul emperor could give Wang Kai a few thousand experience points. If he killed a soul sage, he could give Wang Kai tens of thousands of experience points. Now that Zhang Hui was an arrow at the end of its flight, how could Wang Kai let such a fat piece of meat go? With the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in hand, Wang Kai stomped on the ground. His figure was like a black arrow, madly chasing after Zhang Hui. Although Zhang Hui was a rank 77 soul sage, his speed was still slower than Wang Kai's. In just a few seconds, the distance between Zhang Hui and Wang Kai had shortened from 50 meters to almost 10 meters. Oh no, why is he so fast? There's no other way. We can only fight like this. Sensing that Wang Kai was getting closer and closer to him, Zhang Hui's eyes flashed with determination. Then, he bit the tip of his tongue and activated a special life-saving secret method. In an instant, a thin layer of blood mist appeared beside Zhang Hui. Following the appearance of the blood mist, Zhang Hui's spirit became incomparably excited. The soul power in his body surged, and his strength and speed increased by a large amount. However, an abnormal flush appeared on his face. What Zhang Hui had just used was a very special life-saving secret technique. At a critical moment, it could temporarily increase a soul master's overall strength, but afterwards the soul master would fall into a weakened state for a long period of time. It would also damage the soul master's body and lifespan, so Zhang Hui wouldn't use it unless it was an emergency. After using the secret technique, Zhang Hui changed his direction and rushed towards the slaughterhouse in the center of the inner city of the capital of massacres. His secret technique couldn't be maintained for very long. Once the secret technique's effect ended, his speed would definitely be inferior to Wang Kai's. In the end, he would definitely be caught and killed by Wang Kai. Therefore, his only way to survive was to escape into the slaughterhouse. The spectators in the slaughterhouse were prohibited from fighting. Otherwise, they would be provoking the great king of massacres. Once he entered, he would be able to escape with his life. Kiki, you won't be able to escape. Looking at Zhang Hui fleeing into the distance, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with an ominous glint as he madly chased after Zhang Hui. A red light and a black shadow, one in front and one behind, madly sprinted on the road leading to the Hell Slaughterhouse. The distance between the two gradually shortened. When they saw this scene, the spectators from the side and the spectators from the capital of massacres all activated their soul force and shot out. They left the area where the two of them were chasing after each other, afraid that they would be drawn into the battle between the two of them. 500 meters, 400 meters, 300 meters. Looking at the entrance of a slaughterhouse that was getting closer and closer to him, Zhang Hui's heart was secretly anxious. Finally, he was less than 50 meters away from the entrance of the slaughterhouse. He only needed 1 second to escape with his life. But at this moment, Wang Kai smiled sinisterly. The game is over. Please die for me. With a sudden burst of strength, Wang Kai threw out the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand. The sharp edge of the sword cut through the air and pierced towards Zhang Hui's back with a terrifying force. There was a faint sound of wind beside it, showing the strength of the sword. Pucci, compared to Wang Kai's speed, the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword was undoubtedly faster. When Zhang Hui was less than 10 meters away from the entrance of the slaughterhouse, the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword had already caught up with Zhang Hui. Then it directly pierced through his back, piercing his spine and internal organs, and came out from his chest. Plop! As the sword pierced his body, Zhang Hui only felt a terrifying and unbearable pain spread through his body. Then he lost control of his body and could only stare at the entrance of the slaughterhouse of hell, which represented the hope of survival. Sir, please spare my life. I didn't mean to offend you. Seeing Wang Kai walking towards him, Zhang Hui's face revealed a trace of bitterness, and then he opened his mouth to beg for mercy. Don't you think it's too late to beg for mercy now? Go to hell. Walking in front of Zhang Hui, he no longer had the arrogant tone and aura from before. However, Wang Kai obviously wouldn't let him go just because he begged for mercy. Walking behind Zhang Hui, Wang Kai grabbed the hilt of the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword and fiercely pulled it out. Suddenly, an even more terrifying pain engulfed Zhang Hui. Every cell in his body felt like they were about to explode, and his consciousness began to blur. A mixture of blood and internal organs flowed out from the huge wounds on Zhang Hui's chest and back, dyeing the ground red. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for daring to attack me. With a cold shout, Wang Kai waved the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand, and Zhang Hui's head rolled to the side. Fresh blood gushed out from his severed neck, and Zhang Hui's consciousness fell into eternal slumber. Killed a level 77 Soul Emperor. Obtained plus 5,200 origin points and plus 52 origin experience. Slaughterhouse Mission Special Reward. Obtained additional experience plus 46,800 origin points. Following Zhang Hui's death, 2 pleasant notifications appeared beside Wang Kai's ears. Hearing the system's notifications, Wang Kai's face revealed a look of ecstasy. Awesome. 52,000 origin experience, as expected of the slaughterhouse. His eyes flashing with excitement and passion, Wang Kai shook off the bloodstains on the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword, picked up Zhang Hui's head, and walked towards the 12th palace. Chapter 286. Heavens, that demon king Zhang Hui was actually killed. Yeah, and Zhang Hui couldn't escape even after using a life-saving secret technique. That Wang Kai's strength is truly terrifying. Looks like there's going to be another demon in the City of Massacre that can't be messed with. Looking at the figure of the youth that gradually disappeared into the distance, the crowd began to discuss spiritedly. Their words were filled with admiration and fear, and some people couldn't help but gasp. At this moment, Wang Kai carried Zhang Hui's severed head to the 12th palace. Master, welcome back. I'm your butler, and I'm in charge of managing the 12th palace. As for my name, my previous master called me Zhang Yi. Now that he's been killed by you, Master, please give me a new name. Seeing Zhang Hui's severed head in Wang Kai's hand, the butler of the 12th palace led the rest of the servants out. They nervously knelt before Wang Kai, praying that their new master wasn't a bloodthirsty person. Not bad. My surname is Wang, so you'll be called Wang Yi from now on. As for the other servants, you can name them Wang Air, Wang San, and Wang Si. Also, you don't have to worry. I'm a very refined person. As long as you serve me well, I won't have any desire to kill ants like you. After asking about the functions of the 12th palace and giving a few instructions, Wang Kai let the butler and the other servants leave. He entered the secret room in the center of the 12th palace and locked the door. After releasing the substitute puppet, Wang Kai left the city of massacre and appeared in the small plane. So comfortable. Feeling the yuan qi and fresh air in the small plane, Wang Kai revealed an intoxicated expression. He then summoned a few water elements to wash off the bloodstains on his body and the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. At the same time, he relaxed his mind. "Father, you're back." Feeling Wang Kai's aura, the cute little devil fairy ran over to Wang Kai's side and affectionately kissed Wang Kai. "Yes, I'm back. Ma Shu, I have 2 pieces of good news for you," Wang Kai said with a smile as he stroked Mo Shu's hair. "Good news? What good news?" Hearing Wang Kai's words, Mo Shu's eyes lit up. She looked at Wang Kai eagerly. "Well, first, don't you always complain that I can't accompany you and play elegant games with me? Right now, I'm in a special secret realm. Your sisters didn't come with me. So, for the next few months, or even a year, I'll be by Ma Shu's side every day. I can also play games with Ma Shu often." With a faint smile on his face, Wang Kai said with a smile, "Wow, really? Daddy is the best." Hearing Wang Kai's words, Mo Shu's eyes were filled with ecstasy. Then, she tiptoed and kissed Wang Kai's cheek gently. "Do you want to hear the second good news?" At this moment, Wang Kai said with a kind smile as he stroked Mo Shu's hair. "Of course, Daddy." While hugging Wang Kai tightly, Mo Shu said in a coquettish tone, "Mo Shu, didn't you always want to leave this small plane and see the outside world? Now, I can fulfill your request. However, the secret realm I'm in now is more dangerous. There are many bad people. When I bring you out, you can't run around. Do you understand?" With a smile on his face, Wang Kai continued, "Wow, Daddy, you're the best. When Daddy brings me out, I'll definitely listen to Daddy and won't run around." Upon hearing Wang Kai's second piece of good news, Mo Shu almost jumped up in joy and exclaimed, "Yes, I'm going to cultivate now. When I'm done, Mo Shu, do you want to play games with me first, or do you want me to bring you out?" After kissing Mo Shu's pretty face gently, Wang Kai whispered into her ear, "Of course I want to play games with Daddy." Without much thought, Mo Shu replied, "Okay, no problem. Then I'll go cultivate first." As he spoke, Wang Kai walked to the small plane's plain furnace, sat down cross-legged, and began cultivating. After killing Zhang Hui, Wang Kai's experience had reached 130,000 source origin. He was only a few more kills away from leveling up. Looking at his progress, Wang Kai nodded in satisfaction. Then, he discarded all distracting thoughts and began cultivating the great mystery, Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique. Although each time he cultivated the great mystery, Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique, it would still give Wang Kai a considerable amount of experience. Not only that, but cultivating the great mystery Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique, could also purify Wang Kai's soul power, strengthen Wang Kai's physique, and strengthen Wang Kai's mind power. It was a good thing with many benefits and no harm. Not only that, but Wang Kai's great mystery Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique, was only at the 8th level. The 9th level was still being deduced by little light. After a year of deduction, Wang Kai's progress in the 9th level of the Supreme Mysterious Star Heavenly Suppressing Soul, Refining Divine Art, had reached 50%. In just one more year, Wang Kai would be able to cultivate the 9th level of the Soul, Refining Divine Art. At that time, every time he cultivated, the benefits would be even greater. 2.5 hours later, cultivating the great mystery, Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique. Origin experience plus 1070. Cultivating the great mystery, Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique. Mind power increased. Multitasking 24 times at once, 2% to 4%. 2 system notifications rang out. Wang Kai stood up with satisfaction and walked toward Mo Shu. "Mo Shu, let's start the game." He walked over to Ma Shu's side. Today, she was wearing an elegant long dress that reached the ground. Her skin was as white as jade. Her figure was a little out of line, and her delicate and perfect face made her look like a young girl on a date. She made people want to eat her up. For hours later, Daddy, you're too awesome. Although Mo Shu's physique was much stronger than Chihiro Snow and the other girls, she was still bearing all of Wong Kai's firepower by herself. It wasn't easy for her to play with Wong Kai for so long. In the end, she laid in Wong Kai's arms with a blush on her face. Her beautiful eyes were filled with love and satisfaction. Mo Shu, I'll take you to see the outside world right now. Now hold my arm. After cleaning up the filth on their bodies, Wong Kai helped Mo Shu put on her clothes and said, "Yes, Daddy." Although her steps were still a little unsteady, Mo Shu still smiled and followed beside Wong Kai. She held onto Wong Kai's arm tightly with anticipation in her eyes. Chapter 287. With a thought, Wong Kai and Mo Shu disappeared from the small plane. In the next instant, Wong Kai and Mo Shu appeared in a secret chamber in Palace Number 12. Wong Kai held Mo Shu's soft and fair hand as he led her around Palace Number 12. At the same time, he brought her to the window of Castle Number 12 to take a look at the architecture of Massacre City. Is this the outside world? It's so beautiful. Mo Shu's horizons were greatly widened after seeing the outside world with her own eyes. Her adorable eyes were filled with surprise and excitement as she couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. That's right. However, this is only a very small part of the outside world. The real world is far wider, richer, and more beautiful than this secret realm. Once I become stronger and can protect you, you can freely experience the beauty of the outside world. Wong Kai smiled as he gently caressed Mo Shu's beautiful face as he spoke in a doting manner. Thank you, Father. I'll definitely work hard and do my best to help you in battle. Mo Shu said solemnly as she thanked Wong Kai. Wong Kai took Mo Shu for a stroll around the 12th palace and smiled. Then, he brought Mo Shu back to the small plane. There were no rules in Massacre City. Mo Shu's devastatingly beautiful appearance would definitely bring unnecessary trouble to Wong Kai and her. Although Wong Kai wasn't afraid of trouble, he didn't want his cultivation progress to be delayed by all sorts of trivial matters. As such, Wong Kai didn't plan to let Mo Shu stay in Massacre City for long. He only wanted her to come out for some fresh air and satisfy her desire to see the outside world. Wong Kai smiled as he looked at the satisfied Mo Shu beside him. He instructed her to rest well. Immediately afterward, Wong Kai returned to the Dolua continent. He left Palace Number 12 and strode towards the massacre grounds. My friend, wait a moment. I want her Bloody Mary. Arriving in front of a burly man, Wong Kai stopped him with his sword. He looked straight into the man's eyes and said with a faint smile, You're Wong Kai. Although the burly man was more than twice as tall as Wong Kai, with bulging muscles and a ferocious face, he could not help but tremble when he saw Wong Kai's appearance. His eyes were filled with fear, and he even stuttered, Master, 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 master. That's right. However, you're lucky today. I don't want to kill anyone. Hand over your Bloody Mary, and you can scram. Wong Kai nodded and spoke coldly. Yes, yes. Sir, this is my Bloody Mary. Please accept it. The burly man's Bloody Mary, he raised Bloody Mary over his head and offered it to Wong Kai. Yes, not bad. Wong Kai accepted the burly man's Bloody Mary. He didn't make things difficult for the burly man, who was only a soul king. Instead, he strode into the massacre grounds and poured the Bloody Mary into a container. After that, he signed up for his second round of the massacre grounds. 3 hours later, Wong Kai and the other 9 competitors entered the massacre grounds under the signal of the referee. When these competitors saw Wong Kai, despair surfaced on their faces. They were only soul kings. How could they possibly win against someone as fierce as Wong Kai, who could kill soul sage Zhang Hui? However, they didn't want to give up on resisting when their lives were at stake. Therefore, they released their tool souls or used martial soul possession after the referee's words. Wong Kai also used Emperor Shura's possession and enlarged the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand. Bang! When the battle began, Wong Kai stomped on the ground. Following the sound of an explosion, Wong Kai's body turned into a black line as he charged towards the first opponent. He was so fast that the spectators couldn't see him clearly. Kacha! The crisp sound of neck bone breaking rang out. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai was already in front of the first opponent. He waved the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand, and that soul master's head flew high into the air. Fresh blood spurted out, and his body fell limply to the ground. Next, after dealing with the first opponent, Wang Kai's figure didn't stop at all. He went straight for the next opponent. In a few flashes, Wang Kai was already in front of the second competitor. This was a middle-aged man with a sturdy figure. He had a stern expression on his face. When he saw Wang Kai coming, he wanted to use his martial soul to resist. However, before he could do anything, the figure of a broadsword grew larger in his vision. Pucci! After a muffled sound, the middle-aged man's headless body lost its strength and fell limply to the side. Fresh blood spurted out from his severed neck. Wang Kai didn't stop at all. He madly charged towards the third opponent. Wang Kai's movements were as smooth as flowing water. He was as elegant as a ballerina. Rather than calling this a massacre, it was better to call it a wonderful performance art. The spectators were relaxed and happy, but they were also more afraid of Wang Kai. No opponent could withstand more than one move from Wang Kai. In just 8 moves, 8 opponents fell under Wang Kai's hands. They were either decapitated, cut in half, or split into 2. Their corpses littered the hell slaughterhouse. Now, there was only one soul master left in front of Wang Kai. Seeing Wang Kai's demon-like figure coming to kill him, the last remaining soul master's body trembled because of extreme fear. His eyes flashed with fear, and a faint smell of urine came from his body. Goodbye. Using his movement skill, only a few faint afterimages of Wang Kai were left in the hell slaughterhouse. Before anyone could react, Wang Kai's figure flashed behind the last remaining soul master and coldly waved the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand. So, the sound of the sword piercing through the air rang out. Following the sound wave, a fierce sword aura burst out from the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword. Following that, the last remaining soul master's head flew high into the air. His trembling body lost its support and fell to the ground with a bang. Killed 9 soul kings. Obtained plus 330 origin points, plus 3 origin points, plus 3,000 origin points. Slaughterhouse Mission Special Reward. Obtained additional experience, plus 2,970 credits. 2 pleasant notifications sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Following that, Wang Kai revealed a faint smile. He was one step closer to becoming a rank 64 Soul Emperor. At this time, the referee walked up to the stage and raised Wang Kai's right hand high. Moreover, he announced Wang Kai's victory amidst the cheers of the spectators. Chapter 288. 2 weeks passed in the blink of an eye as he fought again and again. Unknowingly, Wang Kai had already won 9 matches in the slaughterhouse. As his victories increased, the strength of the enemies that Wang Kai encountered increased as well. Right now, the average strength of the competitors that Wang Kai encountered in the slaughterhouse had reached the initial stage of the Soul Emperor realm. Because of the increase in the soul power of his enemies, Wang Kai gained more and more experience every time he returned from the slaughterhouse. Right now, every time he killed 9 enemies, Wang Kai would gain around 15,000 experience points. This was equivalent to half a month of cultivation. With the help of the vast amount of experience, Wang Kai's soul power broke through the limit of a rank 63 Soul Emperor and became a rank 64 Soul Emperor. After he became a rank 64 Soul Emperor, Wang Kai's total amount of soul force, the purity of his soul force, the quality of his body, his spiritual power, and many other attributes all went up a level. At this stage, Wang Kai's victories were still as smooth as flowing water. He was like a rising star in the slaughterhouse. Because Wang Kai was never injured in battle, no one dared to kill Wang Kai after the competition. Therefore, Wang Kai's life was relatively peaceful. He spent every day cultivating, fighting, and killing. As his victories increased, Wang Kai had to wait for more time every time he fought. Often, he would have to wait for 2 days before he could gather 10 people to start the slaughterhouse. For a competition that took more than a day to prepare, the slaughterhouse's arrangements were quite humane. The competitors didn't have to wait idly in the slaughterhouse. Once 10 people were gathered, they would be notified, and the competition would officially start the next day. Although he didn't have to wait, 2 days was still too short. If the time was longer, Wang Kai planned to go to the blood-weeping forest to hunt and fight. On one hand, he would gain more experience points to level up quickly. On the other hand, he would be able to increase his fighting strength. Finally, after receiving the notification from the staff of the slaughterhouse, Wang Kai welcomed his 10th battle. Following the introduction of the host, the 10 competitors of the slaughterhouse entered the stage one by one. They looked at each other warily. Using his appraisal eye, Wang Kai could see that everyone participating in the Hell Slaughtering Tournament was a Soul Emperor. Aside from Wang Kai himself, there were 9 other participants. 1 Class 61 Soul Emperor, 3 Class 62 Soul Emperors, 3 Class 63 Soul Emperors, 1 Class 64 Soul Emperor, and 1 Class 65 Soul Emperor. At the same time, the Soul Emperors also noticed Wang Kai. As the person who killed Zhang Hui and the rising star of the slaughterhouse, Wang Kai's name and appearance were widely known in the slaughterhouse. When they found out that Wang Kai was participating in the slaughterhouse, the Soul Emperors revealed a helpless and unwilling expression. All competitors, release your martial souls. Seeing that all the competitors had entered the stage, the black-armored referee's voice rang out across the slaughterhouse. Emperor Shura's possession. 9 Heavens' soul eradicating sword. Hearing the referee's voice, Wang Kai immediately activated his soul power and entered his battle stance. The 9 Heavens' soul extinguishing sword in his hand instantly grew larger. At the same time, the other 9 competitors also activated their martial spirits. Some of them used their martial spirits to materialize all kinds of weapons, while others used their martial spirits to possess their bodies and transform into ferocious and mighty animals. Begin. Following the referee's words, all 9 contestants rushed towards Wang Kai at almost the same time. Obviously, these contestants who had experienced many Hell Slaughter matches knew that only by working together to get rid of Wang Kai, the strongest contestant, would they have a chance to save the others. Good timing. Too bad you're all too weak. Break for me. Seeing the 9 Soul Emperors charging at him, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. Pushing his soul force to the limit, his aura began to rise at an astonishing speed. Compared to Zhang Hui's 6 servants, these 9 Soul Emperors weren't much stronger. However, their strength was much higher than the ones who were willing to be Zhang Hui's servants. Facing 9 Soul Emperors, Wang Kai had to pay more attention. 7 Kill Sword First Style. Seeing the weapons and claws coming at him, Wang Kai used a mysterious method to activate his soul force. Then he swung the 9 Heavens soul eradicating sword to meet the attacks of the 9 Soul Emperors. At this moment, a sonic boom could be heard in the air. From this, one could see how powerful Wang Kai's sword was. Bang! 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 A few clear sounds of metal clashing were emitted from the place where the 10 people were exchanging blows. Numerous terrifying energy forces also scattered in all directions, appearing extremely frightening. Under Wang Kai's sword, the 9 Soul Emperors were all sent flying. They staggered back several steps before coming to a stop. The weakest Soul Emperor even had blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. It was clear that he'd been injured in the collision. His martial soul weapon was also damaged. Wang Kai, you're the best. Kill them all. Seeing Wang Kai display his invincible might, the enthusiasm of the spectators in the infernal slaughterhouse was immediately aroused. They were looking forward to seeing Wang Kai bring them a feast of slaughter. You're the one. Die for me. 7 Kill Sword, Second Style. Taking advantage of his weakness, Bai Yunfei poured all of his soul force into the 9 Heavens soul extinguishing sword. Then, he used the sword to attack the injured rank 61 Soul Emperor. No! Despair filled the eyes of the class 61 Soul Emperor as he watched Wang Kai come at him. He swung his tiger tail steel puppet to try and parry Wang Kai. Crack! The tiger tail steel puppet was unable to block the Nine Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword. It was split in two, and the Nine Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword's blade grew larger and larger in the eyes of the Soul Emperor. SKRR. The Nine Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword slashed into the Soul Emperor's head. Then, the Nine Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword pierced through the Soul Emperor's body and split him in two. Next, the two halves of the Soul Emperor's body rolled to the side. Blood flowed out from the two halves of his body. Occasionally, the Soul Emperor's body would twitch from the pain. Following the notification from the Soul Emperor, Wang Kai's figure flickered to the next target. Chapter 289. Wang Kai's second target was a rank 62 Soul Emperor. This Soul Emperor was tall and burly, and his entire body was filled with bulging and developed muscles. Even his face was no exception. His eyes revealed a ferocious aura, and his martial soul was the extreme fiery flame snake. Seeing Wang Kai charging towards him, the Soul Emperor's eyes instantly revealed a look of fear. However, this was a Soul Emperor who had won many matches and not a rookie Soul King who had just entered the Hell Slaughtering Tournament. Although he was afraid, he still used all his strength and madly pounced towards Wang Kai. At the same time, the other 7 Soul Emperors in the surroundings had already recovered from Wang Kai's previous attack. Seeing Wang Kai charging towards them, these 7 Soul Emperors also activated their martial souls and charged towards Wang Kai. What a bunch of annoying bastards. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly, and a ferocious glint appeared in his eyes. After that, he activated the wave treading God's wanderer steps, and his body was like the most nimble loach. With a few strange twists, he shuttled through the encirclement of those Soul Emperors, and immediately appeared beside the extreme fiery flame Snake's Soul Master. He raised his hand and heavily slashed towards him. Although the surface of his body was protected by thick snake scales, how could these mere snake scales block the extremely sharp Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword? The snake scales of that extreme fiery flame Snake's Soul Master were cut open like thin paper, and following that, his flesh and blood body were cut open. Poochie. With a muffled sound, Wang Kai's Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword had already pierced through the extreme fiery flame Snake's Soul Master's body. And following that, the extreme fiery flame Snake's Soul Master's body, which had been split into two, fell down heavily. His large eyes were filled with fear and unwillingness, but they quickly dimmed. After killing this extreme fiery flame Snake Soul Master, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's mind once again. Like the most perfect accompaniment, it complemented Wang Kai's soul-stirring massacre. Under this accompaniment, Wang Kai's body also turned into a black line following the rhythm. He flickered in the Hell Slaughtering Field and charged towards the next rank 62 Soul Emperor. No! Seeing the miserable state of the previous contestant, and seeing Wang Kai rushing towards him like a fiend, the middle-aged contestant only had endless fear in his eyes. Then, the figure of the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword became bigger and bigger in his eyes. Crack! The sound of bones breaking could be heard. The man's head was sent flying high into the air by the blood in his neck. Then, it quickly fell to the ground. His body also fell softly to the side. After a few twitches, he lost his life. Again. Next, Wang Kai moved to attack the third-level 62 Soul Emperor. The other Soul Emperors were also attacking Wang Kai at the same time, but Wang Kai was able to use the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword to force them back. Ha ha ha, you want to kill me? Then let's die together. Seeing Wang Kai rushing in front of him, the rank 62 Soul Emperor's eyes revealed a hint of determination. He took out a strange black ball and crushed it. Immediately, a black smoke burst out from the ball. In half a breath's time, it spread out 10 meters and emitted a pungent smell. It was clearly a highly poisonous substance. It's useless. Sword light flashed, and Wang Kai chopped off the Soul Emperor's head. Then, He killed his way out of the poisonous smoke and went straight for the fifth contestant. With the bloodline of Emperor Shura and the body of Yin and Yang, how could such a small poison harm Wang Kai? In the poisonous smoke, Wang Kai wasn't affected at all. Instead, the corpse of the sole emperor who released the poisonous smoke was soaked in the poisonous smoke. In less than 10 seconds, it turned into a pool of black water. Not even a trace of it was left. Slash, slash, stab, slash. Wang Kai's figure flashed and killed the remaining 5 contestants. Although they were stronger than the 4 people Wang Kai killed before, they were still defeated by Wang Kai even when the 9 of them worked together. How could they be defeated now? Without the slightest effort, Wang Kai's figure flashed beside them like a ghost. The 9 Heavens' soul extinguishing sword in his hand was like the scimitar of the Grim Reaper, reaping their lives one by one. Only the remains of their lifeless bodies were left, flowing blood on the ground of the hellish slaughterhouse. Killed 9 soul emperors. Obtained plus 3,207 origin points, plus 32 origin points, plus 700 points. Extra reward for the massacre grounds. Received extra experience plus 28,863 points. 2 system notifications rang out, and Wang Kai revealed a faint smile on his face. Great! As long as I win 7 or 8 more matches, I'll be able to become a rank 65 Soul Emperor. The City of Massacre is really a treasure place for me to level up and become stronger. His eyes flashing with a scorching light, Wang Kai nodded slightly. This feeling of killing and quickly leveling up was really great. The winner is Mr. Number 1145. Let us congratulate him for successfully obtaining 10 victories in the Slaughterhouse of Hell. We also wish him success in the Slaughterhouse of Hell and challenge the throne of the champion. Following the enthusiastic voice of the referee, Wang Kai left the stage amidst the cheers of the audience and immediately registered for the next match. This time, Wang Kai was the first contestant to register. According to the staff's estimate, Wang Kai would have to wait for at least 3 to 4 days before he could participate in the next match. Therefore, Wang Kai was prepared to take advantage of this time to explore the blood-sobbing forest and reap some experience. He received a map of the blood-sobbing forest from the officials of the City of Massacre and handed it over to Xiao Guang for analysis. Wang Kai left the City of Massacre alone and arrived in front of the blood-sobbing forest. Unlike normal soul beast forests, the leaves of the trees in the blood-weeping forest were all blood-red in color, giving off a strange and terrifying luster. The air in the forest wasn't fresh either. Instead, there was a faint stench of blood in the air, and there were also strange and mysterious roars in the air. According to the map, the blood-sobbing forest was roughly a circular area around the massacre capital, and it was roughly 300 kilometers wide. Even though it was a lot smaller than the Great Stardow Forest, it was still many times larger than an ordinary soul-hunting forest. The outer region of the blood-sobbing forest was 100 kilometers away from the City of Massacre. It was mainly filled with infant and mature blood fiends. The inner region of the blood-sobbing forest was 100 to 200 kilometers away from the City of Massacre. There was no lack of mature and immature blood fiends. Further in was the core region of the blood-sobbing forest, where the ultimate blood fiend, the king of the blood fiends, was overseen. This time, Wang Kai didn't have much time. He was only prepared to explore the outer region of the blood-sobbing forest. After leaving the City of Massacre, he released Mo Shu so that she could exercise properly and test her combat abilities.